Southland Tow Service text line 913-586-7965. We're excited about our draft party at the Landing and everything. We've gone through all these mock drafts, and you guys, if you've listened over the last couple weeks, you kind of maybe had a little bit of a feel of the player or two at a position that we kind of like. You maybe made up your mind a player or two that you like. We all have kind of your draft crush at a particular position, and you guys can chime in, as I said on the text line with this. Let's go to running back for a little bit. And look, I still don't want them taking one in the first round, let me be clear, despite maybe liking a certain running back or two, and I know you guys have a few names as well. But the name that I keep going back to that you tell me he's there in the second or third round that I'd be really intrigued by to complement Isaiah Pacheco. This is not a guy that's going to take over and be a three-down back immediately or anything like that. There's just not that many of them. I'm talking about Dylan Sampson, the running back out of Tennessee.
Okay, so you've fallen for the volunteer, huh?
Yeah, we've brought his name up a few times. And I think we're all on the same page. Explosiveness out of that position. Got to get it. Got to get some explosiveness. And you go through, and whether it's Lance Zierlein, whether it's some of our other draft experts, even Matt Miller we've had on the show, and you get their perspective on what he brings to the table. The thing you always hear is, quote, excellent burst. I can't tell you how many of the scouting report. Excellent burst in speed to run outside and hit chunk plays. That's exactly what I want from a running back in this role. He's probably best case scenario, a mid to late second rounder, most likely a third round pick. So you're not having to, I don't think, reach. You're not saying, oh, this is only a guy like I can give you Ashton Genty. Well, that's not realistic. He's going to go in the top 15.
See, your top back on the back in the draft, Gold. He's your number one back.
Ashton Genty.
Turns out he's also my number one back.
But
in the draft.
In terms of a realistic name that I also think would fit well, that I really like, Dylan Sampson, the running back out of Tennessee. He's also not old like some of these other running backs. He was a junior. He's coming out as a junior there, 5'8", 200 pounds, but you get some quickness, some speed. His exact comp is someone that the Chiefs comp to a previous running back, but maybe they'll actually get that running back. That's Brian Westbrook.
Okay, so yeah, that was the comp for Clyde Edwards-Helaire going out there. And I still wonder what would have happened with Clyde had, one, he stayed healthy, but two, not be dealing with what turns out to be a lot of off-the-field stuff for himself, not like in a legal sense, but like in the, some of the anxiety-related stuff and the other issues he was having. And I'd like to point out that Clyde was a really successful back there in year one. Looked like there were some possibilities, and then it just kind of fell apart. I did way more research on this than I'd like to admit. And I think largely because more than any position in the draft that I desperately want them to for sure take, I want them to take a running back. I want them to take an explosive running back. Pacheco might not be long for this world. We know that Kareem Hunt is not. So, they need the future back and a guy who can help their offense now. In doing all of it, and I might give you another name later that I'm interested in some of the, I think, projected to be later round than some of the earlier stuff. But the guy I kept coming back to, and I try to talk myself out of him a couple of times because I know that they don't take players from this school. My answer is Quinshon Judkins. He is, more than anything else, an absolute athletic freak. He is, if there is a Saquon Barkley in this draft, it's him. He's 6 foot tall and 220 pounds. He's also super fast. So they mentioned burst and top line speed. He ran a 4.4 40. And I understand we can be tricked into that. Isaiah Pacheco ran a really fast 40, but he doesn't play like a guy who ran a fast 40. I went back through. Quinshon Judkins, in my opinion, plays fast. He is both bigger-bodied and speed, so it feels like I'm not losing anything in that. And of all the running backs that I was doing some of the research on, I think he's a good vision guy, too, which I feel like is one of the missing elements from Pacheco. Not from Kareem Hunt, but Hunt's talent can't allow his vision to take hold the same way. And so, if you tell me right now in the second round, they're in that late second round pick, and they say Quinshon Judkins, I'm in.
Yeah, he's another guy.
I think he might go earlier than that, but I'm in.
He's another guy that's probably in the same range as Dylan Sampson, though.
Yeah.
Second round, could be as late as third round. At least that's where most of the projections have. So those are two names that we've mentioned over the last couple of weeks, but we're on a different page. I wouldn't be upset if they drafted Judkins, let me be clear, but doesn't stand out as much to me as Dylan Sampson. What about you, Drew? Do you have one? And then we'll get some of your texts. I see a few names coming in.
I'm going to stick with Ohio State, but I'm not going to say Quinshon Judkins. I'm going to say Trevion Henderson.
And the other Ohio State running back?
And part of the reason why is pass protection. He's maybe the best pass pro back in the entire class. He's got very high regards, or held in high regards with that, and obviously with Patrick Mahomes, pass pro, he can fill immediately a Jerick McKinnon-like role, third down back, immediately plug-and-play guy. He can catch out of the backfield, was very effective at Ohio State, but also pass pro-wise, being able to have that extra guy that is very experienced to help protect the back of Patrick Mahomes. along with all the other things that he brings to the table, which is part of why, Judkins and him made such a dynamic punch, is Quinshon would come in on the first or second down, and then Trevion would be that guy in the third down. He's capable of being a full 3-down back, but I think pass protection, to me, just the way that the Chiefs do things, it makes sense for them to have a running back that is very good in that category of things that they don't have to worry about.
There are a lot of good choices, I'll say, but there's
sure.
I don't know that
weird
there's a
way
lot
to-
of top-end speed. Part of the trouble I was having here is I didn't see the guy who's just the Chris. I was looking for like Chris Johnson. I was going through like every running back.
Yeah.
I'm like, who's the guy who like
Yeah.
pretty much ran a 4.25? And I was having a hard time there.
Yeah, like Dylan Sampson did not run a 40 at the combine. I don't know what he did at his pro day, but he did not run a 40 at the combine. And someone says, hey, Sampson's too short. I don't want another 5'8" running back. Look, he's not going to be an every down back. That's not what most of these guys are going to be. Look at what Jerick McKinnon brought to this offense as a third down.
Yeah, he did a lot.
One, he was a really good pass protector, and Dylan Sampson is by no means that. I'm not going to claim that. But if your argument is like, hey, he's 5'8", he's not going to hold up or whatever, he's too small, I don't care the size if the guy's going to be explosive out of the backfield as a compliment to Isaiah Pacheco. That's how I envision
You're viewing them together.
Dylan
Sure.
Sampson. Like, you guys tell me if I'm wrong on your two picks. I don't think either one of your guys is coming in and being a 3-down back either.
I don't think there are very many running backs in the league that do
Derrick
that
Henry
anymore.
And Saquon are about it.
I mean, Quinshon Judkins probably has the best chance to do that of the three
Given
guys we
size.
listed.
Yeah.
Just based on like size and speed and ability. But like year one, I'm not anticipating that out of him. But I do want a running back who, if he touches the ball, there is a chance he'll run 60 yards.
Yeah.
Like they just straight up don't have that. They haven't had that in a long time. Probably since maybe year one of Clyde. Because he had some of that. He had some of that. I don't know. I don't know if it's been since like Jamal Charles. It feels like it's been forever since they had the like home run back. That's why I told you I kept going back to Bucky Irving or Devin Achan and like some of that style. Those guys are not, for the most part, every down backs. Devin Achan doesn't take every snap for the Miami Dolphins. He does in some games when they're just riding the hot hand. But sometimes he was just getting his 12 carries, and then like one of them was for 60 yards.
I know with Dylan Sampson, you mentioned Brian Westbrook. Trayvon Henderson's comp, Aaron Jones.
Yeah. Well,
A guy that has that home run speed, but is very good out of the backfield. I just think the way that Andy does things on offense, it fits to have a guy that is capable of being just as effective, whether it's blocking or receiving the ball out of the backfield.
And also, that's the one question.
A dynamic guy
about Sampson and I can't remember if it was Judkins. We know if you want to be on the field on third down, you got to be able to pass protect, and that would be a question mark on Sampson. I think that's also a little bit of a question mark on Travion Henderson as well. So
I was going to say, I see some of the names over there. People obviously mentioned the local. I looked at Giddens. I looked at Devin Neal. I didn't want to like ignore those. I got close to kind of talking myself into Giddens a little bit, but some of the speed comps, people. They compare. One site directly called him Isaiah Pacheco. They were just like, "This is Isaiah Pacheco," and I was like, "I don't know if that's a direct comp or if that's the way it plays." And that was kind of an off-put sign for me. Like Judkins' comp from Lance Zierlein was Joe Mixon, which I thought, yeah, sure, I wouldn't mind that certainly.
It's a good one.
But I looked at Devin Neal. I actually think
I'm surprised that wasn't your guy then. I'm a little surprised that wasn't your guy because of the comp to Mixon.
I think Devin Neal fits a little bit better than Giddens in the offense. If we're talking about specifically the local guys, I was tempted by Hampton. It's just like I was doing cost benefit on like where I think he's gonna go.
I'm not claiming Dylan Sampson is the best running back in the class. You're not claiming Judkins. We're just saying like, hey, realistic options that we all like.
Draft where they're gonna go.
Sampson's in that bubble of Henderson and Judkins. He's in because it's Genty, Hampton, and then there's a pool of some other guys, and he's in that second tier with some of those others.
A few other names, 913-586-7965. Then we'll move on. Someone mentioned the Tuden guy or whatever from Virginia
Looked
Tech.
at him too, trying to talk myself into him, and I couldn't swing it.
Yeah.
Too big, or I don't know.
People like the speed, right? If they see 4.340 and they get excited, and understandably so. Also, Caleb Johnson at Iowa. We briefly, I think, had him pop up on a mock draft once. We talked about him, and
you guys vehemently said no to Caleb Johnson.
Yeah,
it was the
more I read about that, I was not interested.
He led the Big Ten in rushing, didn't he?
Yeah.
He also ran a 4.540, I think is what it was.
Not the explosiveness that we were looking for. We'll get back to the draft, I promise, a little bit later on, not only with Bink, but also during the Chiefs Red half hour. But let's talk some Royals baseball. They dropped won again yesterday to the New York Yankees. They've lost 2 in a row. They're trying to avoid the sweep. We can get to the offense in a second. But last night, Michael Wacha did not pitch that poorly. Then Angel Zerpa comes in the game, and he simply has just not been as effective as he was in the playoffs last year, where they used him when they were going up against Juan Soto in that Yankees lineup. They counted on him to be the guy to get the crucial outs in those spots, and he was very effective. We know they have very high praise for Angel Serpa in this organization.
Yeah, they love him.
And in that spot, we've discussed how not everybody's going to pitch in the same role, and they're going to move guys around. And right now, unfortunately, Hunter Harvey's on IL, so it limits them again. But that's one, even though I've been consistent on saying, hey, Q's going to play the matchups, and most of the time that's going to pan out. I don't get the decision last night why Zerpa was the first guy out of the pen in that spot. And you can say it's hindsight 2020 because he didn't get the outs, but he has just not been as effective this year, period, as he was as that role. The only guy in that particular role has been Lucas Erceg.
Yeah, I think it'd be different if you were in the middle of a 4-game winning streak and you were just trying to maintain that, right? Versus and I'm not saying the Royals are just falling apart. They're 8-10. I don't think they're falling apart by any means. And I would say this to a player on the team. I refuse personally to panic after 18 games. I know some of you are. I refuse to just be like, well, this team's no good. Season over. Let's pack it up after 18 games. But Angel Zerpa in that spot, considering what he'd done this year, made no sense other than the fact he had come in with 3 consecutive scoreless outings. So the early season trouble he was having seemed to have been slightly righting the ship down there, and they just think one big fastball. But if it's bases loaded and it's to win the damn game, we all know that was going to be the single biggest moment of the game. We knew it right then. And if that's the case, then I want Lucas Erceg pitching 100% of the time. It has even less to do with Angel Zerpa or his ability to get the out, is my confidence in Erceg to get the out.
Yeah, if you build the text line saying, what about Daniel Lynch in that spot? I think he's building to that. I don't know if they have that confidence yet.
I'd almost rather Zerpa.
Yeah, I don't think he's on that level. I know he's on a heck of a run right now, but I don't think that I wouldn't have said, it should have been Daniel Lynch. It would have been either Serpa or Lucas Erceg in that spot. But it was frustrating because I actually thought Michael Wacha pitched pretty darn good and gave him a chance to win. And they get 2 runs early, and you're feeling like, okay, here's an opportunity to get back on track. And MJ Melendez, we all know about the struggles he's having. He finally gets something positive, truly, for the first time this entire season at the plate. Had something positive happen for him. He hits a home run. That was not a Bronx, New York Yankee Stadium aided home run. That was a home run to right center it was going to be a home run anywhere, right? So that,
and you could see the relief. Did you see him smile and hug
I'm sure.
the hitting coach, Zumwalt, and stuff?
Take the frustration out of it from the fan perspective, but for him, obviously, I'm sure it felt incredible. And you saw him and Alex Zumwalt kind of embracing afterwards too. Yeah, I mean, this has been a brutal start to the season for him. It doesn't. And let me be clear. You and I both, I think, on social last night made some comment about the highlight is nice to see a home run from MJ Melendez, and multiple people responded well, I guess they should just extend him now. Okay, we don't have to go to the extreme. You can acknowledge a positive moment for somebody without acting like we're saying everything is solved and everything is fixed. By no means do I think now everything doesn't matter from before. No, the hope should be, maybe I missed something. I thought the hope we all agreed should still be that the guy that was the starting left fielder in Melendez and the guy that was the starting right fielder in Renfroe, the best case scenario for this team this year is still both of them figuring it out at the plate. When did we get to the point where now we're rooting for them to fail and that the random guy in AAA that you think is really good because you haven't seen him fail yet is just going to automatically come up and save the lineup? The hope should still be, as frustrated as you have been with MJ Melendez, that he figures it out. Now, will he figure it out? I don't know. I lean in the direction, unfortunately, that he may not. But acting like that was a bad thing. I had a buddy of mine text me last night saying, oh, great, this is just going to prolong his time in the big leagues. What, so we don't want him hitting home runs? We don't want him trying to figure it out now? That's where we're at?
I guess that's the question I would ask fans in this case. And this is why I would say I think sometimes fans get a bad rap on social or as being unrealistic or being, I don't know, just mean to a fellow human being. But outside of that, let's just take it from a team perspective. Are you all rooting for MJ Melendez to fail?
I think there's some people doing that, man.
Because I'd like the opposite. I would like MJ Melendez to hit 300 the rest of the year with 30 homers. Anytime he does something good, I'm happy he did that thing well. There's not I'm not rooting against it. He hits the home run. And honestly, my hope, and this is why I think we should all think this way, is the same, which is that relief borderline looked like Rory getting the green jacket. He looked so happy to finally just have a monkey off his back for a minute, to feel like a swing that worked, sent a ball over the fence. Maybe he can have a little bit of success over the next couple of weeks. Look, they'll still have to make a decision on him if he doesn't. Nothing changes that. But I'm not rooting for MJ Melendez to be really bad for the next week so that they call up John Rave. I'm rooting for MJ Melendez to hit 700 the next week so they don't even have to make that decision. I would much prefer a player just makes the decision easy for you on the positive than been rooting for some guy that they don't like as much based on just how they developed through the minors, how they got to the big leagues, and a million other things.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we're viewing it too in a utopian world, I guess, because I thought it was okay to be acknowledge that somebody has been awful for the team, but still say, oh, that was nice to see somebody do something positive. Yeah, now let's see if he can carry it over. It doesn't mean that, look, the guy's still hitting like .90, right? Like, or .090, I'm sorry. It's still what he's hitting. I mean, it's awful.
.90 would be incredible.
Yeah, that would be incredible.
Baseball, it's weird to describe it.
.090.
Not as good.
Yeah, below 100. So nobody's saying it's fixed or anything, but I don't get that. And you can be pessimistic that he can continue. Sure, we all are, right? Like, I don't, I'll be pleasantly surprised if tonight he has a 2-hit night or something like that. But yeah, I didn't get the comments from some people last night on that. That's all.
I guess in the way I view it is like the Royals pitching staff is still doing things that is going to make winning easier if and when the offense can find some semblance of consistency. Right now, they still have the fourth best team ERA in all of baseball at 3.28. Only the Mets, Padres, and Reds have a better overall ERA. The teams with, it's just so crazy. If you look at the teams with the top 7 ERAs in baseball, every single one of them has a winning record except the Royals. So, I'll just be honest with you. I'm not surprised. And in the top 10, only one other team doesn't have a winning record, and that's the Tampa Bay Rays. I don't blame you for being mad at the offense. Last night was another example of, are you kidding? 2 more runs? Walker's going to give you... Walker's almost going to get... Honestly, I would have preferred Walker to get that out than Zerpa in that moment, but I would have gone to Urseg. But, you get a pretty good start from Walker. You only give up 4 runs again. The game before, you only give up a couple. You can't find a way to scratch a cuss. Because right now, we're not asking for some 8-run effort for the Royals to win a game. We are asking for the minimum right now, which is, can you very simply just get 4 runs and you probably win a baseball game? The teams that have overall good ERAs tend to win a lot of baseball games, just generally. I don't know for how many years we talked about this. So I actually still think they're positioned okay. If they could just find, and it still goes, but more than MJ hitting 091, do you know what's a bigger problem in their lineup right now? Vinny hitting 200. And I don't even know if that's his average, but that's a bigger problem than the other way around. Not that I'm saying, I don't know, I still think the way people talk about players 18 games into the season, we just need to wash our hands of them. Well, I guess we just shouldn't Vinny to the Reds now, and you're like, were you all? Yeah,
it's not it's not a fantasy baseball lineup where you lose your first 2 weeks of the season, and so you go and you cut 6 guys off your fantasy baseball team and sign 6 new guys. Or in fantasy football, you have a bad first week and you drop 5 guys you drafted and then sign 5 new guys and just change your entire team. It doesn't work that way.
Well, Justin Jefferson only had 2 catches, so you know what? We need to get rid of him, and we're going to bring up Alec Pierce from the Colts. Please.
Yeah, Joe Burrow's team wasn't real good 4 weeks into the season last year. Should they have just washed their hands? No, it's crazy.
Now, there's some individual players, and I know someone would respond, and I agree, somebody like MJ Melendez or Hunter Renfroe.
You've got options.
Options on Melendez. Obviously, they have to DFA Renfroe, but people are basing a lot of it off of the lack of production going back to last season as well. This is a culmination of things. People aren't separating last year from this year. That's carrying over. And let's see, as we've said, the next couple of weeks and the next month or so is going to dictate a lot of this. If they don't get right in another month, 2 months max with certain players or offensively as a whole, we will be talking about, hey, where's the hitting development in the organization, things like that. I'm not ready to have that conversation because I think it's way premature. But at some point, you'll have to start wondering, hey, do they have the right development going on with hitting in the organization? As much as we're praising the pitching, do they have that with hitting? I think it's crazy to already say right this second that, they're just not developing any hitting. Let's see how it progresses. But that'll be a fair conversation to be had in due time if, in fact, the entire offense is going to continue to struggle.
It is always tough with relievers because Zerpa, because over on Twitch, 2 people, Dan and Wynada, both said, hey, Lynch should be the first lefty out of the pen. That might be true. I mean, Lynch isn't
might get there eventually.
It very well might, but I think sometimes with relievers, we see them so infrequently. They could have, and you remember this, we did this with MacArthur early in the season. Later in the year, obviously, he was having a harder time getting outs. They could have 15 consecutive scoreless outings. And if they blew it in the one that you remember, Gold, do you know how many texts you'd get? Do you know how many texts you get? Like, Zerpa could go his next 15 consecutive outings scoreless. And in outing 16, they go to him and the bases loaded, same thing. He gives up a double, and he was great the entire time. You all be like, I can't believe they go to Zerpa. We forget about the good sometimes, and they're banking on a little bit of what they saw in Zerpa last year. I will say, Lynch still does have a 0.00 ERA, so going to him is not a bad idea. Don't get me wrong. I'm definitely interested in using Lynch in higher leverage situations, but
we'll get back into some Royals baseball, I promise, throughout the show. We'll get back to some of your texts as well, 913-586-7965. So you guys know that, of course, the Masters wrapped up on Sunday, and we've been talking a lot about golf on the show because in the next month or so, or less than a month, we're going to try to get Drew to qualify for a Korn Ferry Tour event. And it all started because of the conversation about breaking 100 at Augusta. Both our boss, Spec, and Drew said that. They said from the same tees as the pros, during the Masters, they could break 100. We're like, you got to be kidding me. Well, someone that's covered sports in this town for a very long time for the Associated Press, Dave Scretta, was covering the Masters. And in the media, you get your name drawn potentially. I think they draw, what is it, we think, 20 names?
yeah, something like that.
To play one round of golf at Augusta the day after the Masters. Like, it's an unbelievable thing to get to do.
Unreal experience, I'm sure.
I think CDOT and Rob called up Dave Scretta yesterday to ask him about his experience and to ask him, hey, what was your score, and do you think breaking 100 for the average golfer makes a lot of sense?
A weekend warrior would not break 100. I played a lot of golf growing up. I don't play as much anymore. If I'm playing back home on like a normal course, I'm going to shoot around 80, like 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, depending on how I play. I shot 95 and played my butt off. J.J. Watt shot 103, he said. So it's just so unbelievably difficult, and there's no secrets. Like, there it is right in front of you. There's no surprises. But when you get to the greens, I mean, it is so difficult. If you don't have a caddy telling you what to do, where to go, the breaks, I mean, you're going to three-putt every green. It's just so hard.
And he shot from the members' tees, not from the tournament tees that Drew and Spec said they could break 100.
And
How
Drew,
do you feel
would say,
about
like,
that?
if you were just going out on the weekend and shooting at a Muni, an 80 is probably a reasonable score, right?
I mean, that's what I shot the other day, the first time playing in 9 months. So.
Yeah. What do you make of Scretta, though? He broke 100. Now it's from the members.
That's great. I mean, again, we wouldn't be able to get there's no way to test this because even if let's say
I love that answer though. I do love that. You're not wrong, but I can say that about so many things in life. You guys can't tell me I can't hit a home run off a loose.
You can't tell me I couldn't dunk on LeBron. You can't prove it.
I understand.
This is why I think people love golf, because you and everybody feels like, because theoretically you can play with the same club on the same course as the pros. You have this, I think, complete incorrect way of viewing it. Like, you're right. I can't be in the batter's box at Kauffman Stadium against Lucas Urseg, so maybe it's not a direct comp.
No, it wouldn't be the same club, though. See, that's where I think golf is. I think that's where it's amazing.
But golfers, and this is why people love golf, I assume, among many reasons. But like, you can play at the same course as the pros and feel like you can do the exact same thing theoretically, and mask what I think is reality. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
How far are the member tees though?
They are 1,000. It's like 1,200 yards less, man.
So it's like 6,300.
Yeah, and so like the way I read it was, some of the holes won't be any different, right? Fundamentally, they will be the same.
Correct.
But some of the holes, it's an additional like 150 yards, like a full ass shot.
Yes.
Different than what you would normally do. Look, I listened to that and I thought I owe Drew a half apology, as in maybe I jumped too quick to say that there's a 0.000 chance if I gave you the member tees. I still think if you're shooting from the pro tees.
He didn't say the member tees. He said the
member tees, I actually think you got a shot. I think you got to play your best golf. I think you're going to go out there and have a hell of a round and no messing around kind of stuff.
Of course.
But I mean, the fact that he's saying 3-putt every green is exactly what we were talking about.
Yeah, I think that would be the part of it where even if I'm playing from 7,500, I might have to take driver and then I might go 3-wood. I might go back to back where Brooks Koepka can get, or Rory
but
can go.
But 3-wood off the deck is probably not a club you hit very often, Drew. That's not likely to be successful.
Well, that's what I mean. It would be more difficult, certainly from the yardages point, but it all eventually comes back to your ability to work around the greens and all of those other things. So
he said the caddy was a big help. So I guess in the hypothetical, you also do get they
didn't say they got a caddy. I didn't recall them saying they got a caddy, but
where?
In their Spec and Drew's.
Oh, yeah, and their hypothetical, it didn't seem like it. Would seem like they're just on the course. Scretta, when he played it, got an Augusta caddy, as in, like, he probably knows every blade of grass
and
on
that
the
got
green.
him to 95 on members tees.
And
That's
he
all I'm
did
saying.
say, I played great. As in, like, it wasn't just like, I had the round, right? It's like, so for the member tees, I'd give you a chance. I'd still bet against you, if I'm being honest. I'd still bet against you breaking 100.
Fair enough.
But, like, from the pro tees, I still think it's 0.
Right,
That 1,000 yards is not nothing.
Coming up next, though, thinking of comments that make me think and chuckle at times. What a big leaguer said yesterday about the current situation he's in, despite the money he's making, and who could still be the guy in the backfield for this upcoming Chiefs season. That's next.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Cole Reagans, and you're listening to Cody and Gold. Weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
You're looking to make a change for the summer. You're like, I'm going to go to the pool. I'm just kind of tired of carrying this extra weight. Why not try Awaken 180's weight loss at home program, as in do it from home. You don't have to go to these meetings or go somewhere specific. They'll just give you a call. 844-346-1800. You can call them online at awaken180weightloss.com. They got a super easy app to use. Allowed me to find recipes, look up food. I'm still using the recipes now that I'm in maintenance mode, because after reaching my weight loss goal, which was 30 pounds in 6 weeks, which I did reach, I received free support for life. Support every week, making tweaks to help you keep losing weight and doing it without the help of no medications, no gym, and no calorie counting. So if you're looking to, maybe your weight loss goal is 10 pounds, maybe it's 60 pounds. For me, it was 30, and I was able to reach it in 6 weeks. You can do something similar by trying Awaken 180 weight loss. Give them a call, 844-346-1800, or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Some things just go together, like peanut butter and jelly, or a Casey's spicy chicken sandwich and a 49-cent medium fountain drink, or a Casey's breakfast sandwich and a 49-cent fountain drink, or even Casey's limited-time Italian deli sliders and a 49-cent fountain drink. You get the idea. It's not crazy. It's Casey's. See store for details.
As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner, right here in Kansas City. With $215 billion in business loans and over 3,700 business specialists across the nation, we help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Honey, it's me, your wife. Spring is here, and our house desperately needs the experts at Powell Exteriors Casey for siding, windows, entry doors, beautiful decks, patio covers, roofs, and more. Get ready for summer at PowellCasey.com.
During the NBA play-in tournament, FanDuel is giving all new customers a shot at $250 in bonus bets. Join FanDuel today. You'll get started with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. From three-pointers to steals to assists, to who you think will get a double-double, who you think will make the first basket of the game. FanDuel has so many ways to bet on your favorite player props. Plus, even after a game tips off, you can combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win real big. So visit FanDuel.com. Use my promo code KFNZ to get in on all the NBA play-in tournament action. FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued with nominal drawable bonus bet, which expires 7 days after street restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement. Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Get up with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Raise the case. GamblingHelp.com.
Hey there, I'm Jack.
And I'm Stag.
We're just two deer that want to make sure you know it's deer season at your authorized John Deere dealer. The deer season that saves bucks. You know, like us.
Yeah, you can get $3,000 off select John Deere machines. No early wake-up calls or tree stands required.
Just a trip to your authorized dealer before June 2nd.
If you ask us, it's the only deer season worth celebrating.
Visit johndeere.com/deer season to find an authorized dealer and for complete finance details.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Here's Comedians and Sketchers Getting Comfortable, presented by Hands Free Skechers Slip-Ins.
Hey, I'm Bobby Slayton, and I'm here with my pal, comedian, and Skechers ambassador, Mr. Howie Mandel.
Why did it take so long to invent something as amazing as slip-ins? I know it seems simple, but it took Skechers to invent a better pair of shoes.
Yep, with Skechers slip-ins, you just step it and go. You don't have to touch your shoes. And by the way, slip-ins are for the whole family. Men, women, and kids. In all your favorite Skechers styles, find Skechers slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Lowe's is the destination for Ego outdoor power equipment this spring. See what's new and exclusive, like the 17-inch string trimmer with Line IQ technology that auto-feeds to save you time, and the 22-inch Select Cut self-propelled mowers with a multi-blade system for precise cutting. Shop Ego Days, happening now during Spring Fest at Lowe's. We help, you save. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California and via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the GPS directions first, before driving to the mall.
Turn right at the light. In 1,000 miles, you will reach Montreal.
Not Montreal, the mall.
Recalculating. 6,000 miles to Nepal.
No, the mall.
Checking first is smart.
Recalculating.
So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Coming up in about 8 minutes, we'll get to a player that maybe is getting discounted too much already, heading into the draft, heading into the season, with the conversation about how this past year ended for him. We'll get to that in just a bit. But we all know this offseason, Juan Soto got paid, absolutely paid by the New York Mets. And he is still, I think people forget, he's not 28 years old. He's not 30 years old. This guy had got up to the big leagues with the Nationals at such a young age. It was when the World Series when he was like 19 or something.
He was a teenager.
Yeah, like it was crazy. So he signed a 15-year, $765 million contract with the Mets. And he had 41 home runs last year, 109 RBI, MLB high runs in 2024, hit 288, finished third in the AL MVP race just behind Bobby Witt Jr. and Aaron Judge. So he's with the Mets, and I mentioned behind Aaron Judge. Well, now he doesn't have Aaron Judge behind him in the lineup.
Which we all knew. I mean, that's,
he
that's how it works.
commenting yesterday to the New York Post and said I'm being pitched differently than I was last year because I don't have Aaron Judge behind me. Dude, you signed a 15-year, $765 million contract. There are no excuses to be had. None whatsoever.
This is one of the worst conceivable answers you can give considering his spot. He is one of the 5 best players in the sport historically.
And for those who know, look at his numbers this year. This is why the comment came.
He's hitting 250 with a 392 on base, so he's still walking, although he walks at a higher rate than that in his career. He's only got 3 home runs, which is low for him, and 7 RBI in now 17 games with the Mets. This is you can't make excuses. You're making $750 million. You were supposed to be Aaron Judge. What kind of player of his caliber essentially admits that he's not as good of a player without a better player behind him? That's nuts. This is a truly, truly, truly awful answer from Juan Soto.
He is being pitched differently. That is a fact. And it is
sure,
because
but you're supposed to adjust. You're Juan Soto.
You're the guy.
Like Bobby Witt Jr. has had Salvador Perez or Vinny Pasquantino hitting behind him the entire time. Not Aaron Judge, right? Not like a player of putting up those kinds of numbers. Not saying those are good players, but not they're afraid to pitch to Aaron Judge. It doesn't stop him. He's playing great. Whole offense can't hit. Bobby Witt Jr. still can. So the idea that you can't make $750 million and never make an excuse. I'll be honest. You can't say your ankle hurts or your elbow hurts or you had a tough day at home or Aaron Judge isn't hitting behind you. You have to be excuseless. Just simply, I am not playing up to the standards that I am being, that I should expect of myself. That's the only correct answer in this scenario.
I was surprised.
That's a weird cop-out on the Aaron Judge thing.
I was surprised to hear because I actually think Juan Soto is an extremely likable player, and he's one of the most entertaining players to watch in baseball and all of that. If you would have had me guess a player that would already, this early in the season, maybe make some excuse for how they're performing, I would not have expected it to be Juan Soto. I also still think by the time the season is over, he'll be hitting way better than 250. He'll be on pace for another all-star season and all this, and it'll all work out. But he's off to a slow start by the financial standards that he's making, and he's in New York yet again, and so the magnifying glass is on you, no doubt, and everybody's going to be taking a closer look.
Take $750 million. That's part of the price. That's part of the pay. Like you said, the magnifying glass, that's it. Somebody pointing out Pete Alonso's been hitting behind him most of the year. He's hitting 350. He's making it sound like Paulo Orlando, not even in his prime, is hitting behind him. Like he's just not getting a single pitch to hit. No, you're a really good baseball player, so they've decided to limit their exposure against you. God, Pete Alonso is leading the league in OPS. The idea that, I'm just not getting any pitches to hit. Well, that's your job. I'm sorry, you got to walk more than. Barry Bonds was I just, in any of the time I've watched baseball, I don't care if it's Ken Griffey Jr., Aaron Judge the last couple of years, in all of my time consuming baseball as a 40-year-old man, I've never watched a person pitched around more in my life than Barry Bonds. And yet, he found pitches to hit, Gold. They straight up were not throwing to him for 5 consecutive years. You know what he did? He waited for the one pitch that was hittable, and he wrecked it. If you're Juan Soto and you're making $750 million, that's your job. That's your job.
The question, the comment, if anybody wants to have a true issue with it, it should be, as you said, Pete Alonso, because you're basically saying I'm not as, the guy behind me sucks compared. That seems to be, if anybody wants to
that's
actually
fair, yeah.
Deep down, you and I and anybody else, it doesn't matter our reaction to it. The person that would have a legit gripe would be Pete Alonso. Now, going back, and I think there was a New York Post article about this yesterday, and it was hey, when Juan Soto signed with the Mets, he also told Steve Cohen, the owner of the Mets, hey, I want you to make sure you bring back Pete Alonso. Because remember, that was not a done deal yet either. It took a while for Pete Alonso to sign back. And so Pete Alonso, if you're him, you go back to those and say, no, Juan Soto was vouching for me to come back here. And so obviously he thinks I'm a quality hitter. But on the surface, I could see how that could be misconstrued of you're taking a shot at your teammate. Otherwise, I don't know if it ultimately matters.
It's hey, I don't have the kind of support I normally have. They're not pitching me the same. But specifically about Pete Alonso, a guy you said you wanted back, the reason why I said it's the worst conceivable comment you can make is it's bad on all fronts. It makes you look like you're making excuses for your poor play. It makes it look like you're not worth the money, which you're in year one of this deal. They got to pay you this for 1 billion years in a row. Feels like a shot at Pete Alonso. Makes it sound like you're not happy to be a Met. It makes it sound like you pine for the days that I was a New York Yankee and Aaron Judge hit behind me. And then it makes it seem like you only cared about the money. That you knew that what you were losing and not having Aaron Judge hit behind you and being on a team that had those kind of capabilities and you cared. And I don't care that you care about the money. But there are always going to be fans that blame athletes who take the money instead. Sure. And so,
the minute you sign a contract like that, look, and nobody's going to feel sorry for you, right? Because you signed the deal. But the minute you sign a deal like that, anything you say and do, people are going to
nitpick.
Yeah, I mean hey, you signed up for it. No, nobody's.
I'm not going to feel bad. I'll take all that criticism. I'll go out there and try to hit for the New York Mets today for the next 14 years, and people can hate me for the rest of my life for $750 million. I'll hit cleanup behind I'll hit third behind or ahead of Alonso. I'll go 0-4. I'll never get a single hit. Do you think if I had to play out that entire contract, 14 years, I get professional training, do I get one hit?
A hit?
One hit.
A hit, yes.
But I'll hit about 0.50 every year. What do we think?
You'll have a bunch of 1 for 50 stretches.
Oh, at best. Maybe 1 for 150 stretches. Dude, I think I might get on average over the 14-year thing. Because I'm in this hypothetical, I'm getting professional training.
How many strikeouts? How many strikeouts?
And I got to play every day, dude. 400, 500 at bats a season.
You're going to strike out. You might strike out 450 times, 480 times.
I think I get 5 hits and I strike out. Because imagine how in they're playing, dude. Imagine how in they're playing. I can't get a bloop. I'm not getting a bloop.
I mean, you're definitely not legging out an infield single.
Dude, no.
Cody,
I also think I actually think you're getting injured before the season ends because I think you're going to misread.
But I got to play through any injury that's not just like I broke an arm or something.
I think a ball's hitting you're breaking fingers and stuff because you're just not going to get out of the way.
I think I reached base 5 times.
Would you be better? Would you have a better on base percentage? Not swinging the bat a single solitary time and just hoping you walk a couple times.
And just hoping a guy doesn't have it, can't throw a strike?
Exactly.
I got to think in my case, dude, they're going to like practically soft toss one in there for a strike.
Well, why would they? Why would they?
Yeah, exactly.
No, why would they lollipop it in?
I'm just saying rather than walk me. I'm saying if they just have no command,
Cody, you're not catching up. You're not catching up to 100 miles. If the guy throws 97 mile per hour fastball, he can just throw that the whole time. You're never hitting.
I'm saying he's just saying
you're never hitting it.
He's saying would I have a better on base percentage? Hoping someone just accidentally walked me.
If you did not swing a bat.
Attempting not to around me.
We're down a dangerous path where now every day somebody on this show is making another ridiculous claim about what they can do.
He's saying like they just don't have command, like a 4-pitch walk. Would I have a better on base percentage not trying is his argument.
Would you be better just standing up there and just taking it?
No, because they would not walk.
No, I'm just saying like they would take all the they would take anything they needed to take off in order to throw a ball over the plate
to make sure it was a strike.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. No one would ever walk me. There is no I would walk 0 times. I would maybe get hit once or twice because an errant pitch slipped out of somebody's fingers. Maybe once a year I'd get hit. I'd walk 0 times. I'd strike out 400
once a year.
I'd strike out 400 out of 500 bats.
Hang on, so you
420.
You would never catch up to
you'd be 54 when you finish the contract.
I mean, I would get training in this scenario. So like I might, but like again, I think I'd get on base.
This is
times.
starting.
You don't think I'd get on base 4 times?
No, this is 2 conversations we've had already in the first 45 minutes of the show.
I don't think we're claiming anything
completely
reckless,
this is not reckless. This is way different than shooting 100.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if we're claiming.
I said I'd get on base at a 0.008% of the time.
So you get 1 hit, 5 hits a year?
I didn't say 5 hits. I said I get on base 5 times out of 500 at bats.
Okay, so it's not
I think I
hits.
get plucked once. I think, and then or hit twice, or like an accidental walk. I think there's 1 accidental walk in there because I swing so little. Because I'll be honest, I'm not taking that many swings. I'm not taking, and I don't even think anybody.
That's why I asked.
Do you think anybody would even throw me a fastball, or do you think I just get straight sliders? Because I got less of a chance of hitting that. I think I might get nothing but sliders. I don't even think anyone would throw me a fastball. There'd be no point.
That's why you don't swing.
Yeah, someone's also right. You wouldn't even make it to 200 at bats. You'd be done.
Oh, I died before. I'm just saying if I got 5. Yeah, you're right. No, I'm not even trying to get to 100 at bats before my body fell apart. If we're being honest.
Well, the team would also be done with you.
No, I'm saying in this case they have to play me. Like I have to take over Juan Soto's contract. They're paying me the money to take on the criticism. Every fan of that team hates me with every fiber of their being. But I'll do it for $750 million is what I'm saying.
Yeah. New rule on the show for at least the rest of today, maybe the week. No longer does anybody on this show get a claim a ridiculous athletic hypothetical that just is like ridiculous.
In fairness, I think that I'm at a significantly lower claim rate here than Drew on the golf.
Hang on. I'm not Michael Block in saying that if my game was as good as Rory's, I'd be better than he was. Let's
crazy.
Let's pump the brakes, please. I have never claimed that I am better than a single solitary individual on the Korn Ferry Tour, PGA Tour, Amateur Tour. I'm not claiming anything.
He's just talking about shooting 100.
I'm talking about individual performance.
All right, I'll lower it. I'd get on base twice. And I do agree with you that my strikeout numbers would be at least 400.
All right, let's talk about the Chiefs' backfield. Nobody needs to claim that they could get a 30-yard touchdown running the ball, please, during this conversation. Okay, can we?
Does everyone die on my way to the end zone?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Can we let's avoid a ridiculous scenario where somebody at this station is capable of doing what Isaiah Pacheco has done in his career? Because we're going to talk about Isaiah Pacheco here.
Impossible.
Okay, just want to make sure we're good.
I wouldn't even make it. I'd make it one snap in the NFL.
As much as we've talked about needing more explosiveness in the backfield, and we, to start the show, went through a couple names we like at running back in this year's draft, I do think because of the injury to Pacheco last year, we have forgotten, though, that Isaiah Pacheco is still a capable back. He just has to have somebody else complimenting him and now a full offseason of getting healthy. You know, do I think he can have the same workload he had pre-injury? Maybe not. But what we saw in December, we have to remember, that was not who he was prior to the injury. And the injury he had was a serious ankle injury that required surgery. Full offseason, going into the year, unless they spin one in the first round, he's going to be running back one for this team.
And I think should be viewed that way. It's interesting because you and I both think that they need to draft a running back to be a part of the room with him and Kareem Hunt. But I also think that we're kind of misplacing, because of the year he had, what he is capable of when fully healthy. I think what we know about Isaiah Pacheco now is why he was not a second-round pick or why a third-round pick, because there are partial limitations to his game that probably still hold him back a little bit from being one of those 20 best running or 15 best running backs in the NFL there. But 2 years ago when he was a rookie, he had 960 yards from scrimmage. He wasn't even a full-time starter then. 2 years ago, or like in his second year, he had 1,200 yards from scrimmage and 10 touchdowns. And so you're like, okay, last year he was hurt. He couldn't get on the field quite the same. He only played 7 games. Based on those, his average yards per carry went way down, but the offensive line was worse. I think Isaiah Pacheco in a full workload this year is in full for him, right? He's a 60% carry back, which is what I think you should look at him this year. I think he's a 1,000-yard scrimmage guy again. I don't think that's out of the question. Not a 1,000-yard out of the backfield, but a 1,000-yard scrimmage guy, which is what he was 2 years ago anyway. I think you should view him as running back one for the upcoming season. I don't think it's important when you draft running backs like this to squeeze every last ounce of juice out of him a lot of times before you turn it over to the next guy. This is where I might have been wrong about what they did with, partially wrong on what they did with Thomas Jones at the end, if they didn't think they were a Super Bowl contender that year. Pacheco's a good enough back that you should get your 1 year left out of him. Out of the legs, out of the back, do what you can. Squeeze the juice, and then hand it off to the next running back, where Jahmyr Gibbs got way more carries in year 2.
Yeah, but I mean, before last season, before the injury, we had a convo, and I said last year was going to be the last year you could count on Isaiah Pacheco as the number one, gets 90% of the carries thing. Then he has an injury. I think he goes into the season as the number one running back. But if they spend a fairly high pick, and we know you got a crowded backfield of Kareem Hunt, Elijah Mitchell, Carson Steele as well. Somebody will end up getting cut, I think, at the end of training camp, or I guess traded for like the Carlos Hyde type of trade from a few years back. But I don't think you're going to see Pacheco have the same workload that he was pacing to have before the injury last year or had the year before. I think we're in a different spot. You can count on him, but it's not the same way maybe you would have before. And that was nothing that much to do with the injury, just the wear and tear that he was already going to have pre-injury.
Yeah.
But he to me, I'll be stunned if he's not RB1 on the depth chart week 1 when they open up the season against whoever. We don't know yet.
Yeah, maybe the Chargers in Brazil.
Could be.
That was certainly in the running as of, a couple of weeks ago. That was certainly the rumor that they were maybe still the favor to do it.
Yeah, if the Cody Gold road trip to Springfield goes well, we'll do a road trip to Sao Paulo. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? That feels like I'm going to be on the road a long time. Can we get a bus? The next time we do a Cody and Gold road trip.
Let's just get a cruise ship.
The next time we do the Cody and Gold road trip, can we get one of those big coach buses?
1 and 2, I think there's a little liability concern we ran into. But
Can
yes,
they take on the liability?
I wish, because we
talked
about, trust me, it was something we talked about. Yes.
I think that'd be fun.
It would
kind
be
of like a booze
fun.
cruise,
It would be a lot
down
of fun.
Down to
I
the
think the
game.
company.
I think
the company was going to freak out about that.
If, by the way, you have already purchased your tickets to the Cody and Gold road trip, and if you missed that, we're heading down to watch Jack Caglione hit massive home runs on Saturday, May 3rd. That game is in Springfield. They take on the AA Fayetteville team, obviously, but will be in Springfield for the game against the Springfield Cardinals. One person who purchased tickets to the game will get a chance to throw out the first pitch. We got a great ticket deal at 965thefan.com. Only $10 to get in there. So if you just want to drive down and drive back, that's a choice. We'll probably find a place to go get a couple of drinks after the game instead. If you've already ordered your tickets, and I'll be honest with you, right now, I think we're approaching or near around 70 total people going on this trip right now.
Yep, 70 listeners.
And you would like the CAGS shirt we're having printed up from Raygun. Those are available for $10 for people going down there. If you need that link, as in you purchase the tickets and you want the link, hit us up on the text line, 913-586-7965, or on socials, at Alex Gold, at Cody B. Tap. We'll make sure to send that to you, or in the YouTube or Twitter or Twitch chat. I can help you there as well. But if you want the shirt, right now, there's plenty of people who have bought tickets who don't have the shirt yet or don't want, maybe don't want it, but they haven't ordered it. Yeah. We'll help you out there. But if you want to go to the thing, already 70 of us heading down to watch CAGS. We're filling up a couple of sections down there in Springfield. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, no, we're only a couple days into the announcement for this, and we've got great turnout. So I think especially when we get closer and people see the weather forecast, and once people maybe are more confident, if you're worried about CAGS or you think he's not going to be there or whatever, once we get inside 2 or 3 days of the road trip, my guess is even more of you sign up. So great turnout already. Hope to see you guys down in Springfield. And yes, the T-shirts, if you order them, they have to be picked up in Springfield at Harbell's, which is a bar like 5 minutes from the ballpark, starting at 3:30 on Saturday, May the 3rd.
Somebody's like, $10. I was like, is that more than a Royals game? I was like, nah, secondary market. Who says you can't buy a secondary market ticket? It's $10.
Wait, someone's mad about the ticket costing
$10? Okay. We got to offer that person, you know what, if you come from the 816, I got one for you, you know? I'll get you 10. But I think it's going to be a great time down there. And we're going to meet, like you mentioned, at Harbell's beforehand to hand out those shirts. You guys got your orders in? You got your sizes in there, Drew? You got your shirt size in there?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're all taken care of. Don't want to be missing any of it. It's hard, man. It's hard to keep track of sometimes. We want to make sure that everybody who wants a shirt gets a shirt. That's all.
That's right.
Well, that's going on the trip.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking to get in the secondary T-shirt selling.
Cody's going to start being on a street corner selling T-shirts. That's the next thing.
We've already done that for the station multiple times, as you recall, with several different iterations of Taylor Swift T-shirts. Was that it? Is that the only time we've done that? That feels right. Speck has also handed out some T-shirts for the Royals playoff run, I think last year. Thanks to Raygun. You know, they're a nice T-shirt partner, always helping us out, getting our CAG shirts all squared away. Somebody said you broke your own rule. Can't have hypothetical road trips to Brazil Gold. They're saying that's no more ridiculous.
By the way, us doing
that's no more ridiculous than me getting on base 3 times or 5 times.
My hypothetical is way more possible to even start executing than Cody's.
Well, mine's just, they're never going to put me on. Yeah, my hypothetical, what's funny about mine is, my hypothetical versus, I don't think Drew's ever getting on Augusta, but, it's at least technically plausible. Mine is not. No team would just pay me $750 million to stand on their bench and get struck out 450 times.
That's right. All right, up next, let's get to the 11 o'clock hour. The latest from Clay County. Maybe they're still in the mix for a Royals stadium moving forward. We'll tell you the latest there. And one current member of the Chiefs says he's in for a big year. We'll see if you guys agree next.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. Could you benefit a little extra in the bedroom? We all could. Blue Chew can help. Your partner wants you to do whatever it takes to make your sex life better, and Blue Chew is that secret weapon for the bedroom or wherever you decide to get it on. You know, pro athletes train every single day to perform better on the field, but what if you could improve your performance in the bedroom with no training required? Turn oh no into oh yes with Blue Chew. Blue Chew is an online prescription service, and some of the things that come along with that, there's no visits to the doctor, there's no awkward conversations, there's no waiting in line, and it ships right to your door in a discreet package, and their licensed medical providers work with you individually to find the right ingredient and strength for your prescription. If you don't like swallowing pills, no problems there because Blue Chew's tablets are chewable. If you could benefit from extra confidence when it's time to perform, visit BlueChew.com. We got a great offer there for you. Get your first month free when you use our promo code KFNZ at checkout. You just pay $5 in shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code KFNC to receive your first month free. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
Hey there, Royals fans. It's Royals Hall of Famer Mike Sweeney. Have you or your kids experienced a high school coach who wants to make our Kansas City community a better place to live, work, and play? The Royals and the See You in the Major Leagues Foundation, together with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City, are shining a spotlight on 6 impactful coaches in the KC metro area. Nominate a high school coach today at royals.com/coaches with character.
Think you know who will score the first goal in this Wednesday's NHL game? With BetMGM's Second Chance promotion, every Wednesday you'll get your stake back in cash if your selected first goal scorer beats the goalie second instead. That's right. Bet on any NHL player to score the first goal of a game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second instead, you'll get your stake back in cash. Hockey is all about lighting the lamp. With BetMGM's Second Chance promotion, you have a chance to keep your first goal scorer wager going even after the first goal. Wednesdays just became the coolest day of the week, thanks to the NHL, hard-hitting hockey action, and BetMGM, an official betting partner of the NHL. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
If you've been tired of being out in the bad weather or you're just looking for a more stable industry, our friends over at Centric can offer that to you.
What's great is they allow you to work through your schedule. You still need to have the income coming in from your current job while looking ahead to your new career. They have in-person classes, virtual classes. They can get you trained when it's best for you.
Make it easy. Call our buddy Russ Mondry. He's been with Centric for over 16 years and will guide you through every step of the process. If you're looking for that new career, wait no longer. Go to Centric.com.
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
They told us nothing but lies.
These timeshare thieves out there are terrible.
They bullied us.
It was a nightmare. We felt stuck.
Our timeshare is all a scam.
They stole from us. They were thieves.
I was completely taken advantage of.
Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group, and I know the tough spot you're in. Are you asking yourself, why did I buy that timeshare? I'll tell you why, because that presentation wasn't a normal sales pitch. It was a show to convince you that timeshare is a great investment. They told you it was available today and today only. They said you're foolish if you don't buy, and unfortunately, you believed them. We get over 3,000 complaints a week from folks just like you that were misled into buying a timeshare. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-328-9696. 800-328-9696. 800-328-9696.
The 96.5 The Fan ticket window is open. Head to the contest page at 965thefan.com for your chance to score tickets to see Blink-182 with Alkaline Trio at T-Mobile Center Saturday, September 27th. Must be 18 to enter and win. Good luck.
I'm Brian Tedesco, CEO of Blaupunk Americas, the pioneers of the car stereo. Today, we're not just about sound systems. We are revolutionizing the e-bike scene with Blue Dot Bike. Thanks to AmericanEagle.com, our online presence now features a dynamic e-commerce website that showcases the quality and affordability of our foldable e-bikes. And our collegiate e-bikes, just perfect for the college fanatic. These e-bikes offer a new way to experience freedom on two wheels, no matter your age. When we needed a top-notch website to match our cutting-edge e-bikes, we turned to AmericanEagle.com. They made the impossible seem easy, tackling digital challenges like pros. Check out the Blue Dot Bike website to see AmericanEagle.com's amazing work in action. Need the best in website and digital marketing solutions? AmericanEagle.com is your go-to. They've been a game changer for us, and they can be for you too. Visit AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW-1. That's 877-WEB-NOW-1.
Lowe's is the destination for Ego outdoor power equipment this spring. See what's new and exclusive, like the 17-inch string trimmer with Line IQ technology that auto-feeds to save you time, and the 22-inch Select Cut self-propelled mowers with a multi-blade system for precise cutting. Shop Ego Days, happening now during Spring Fest at Lowe's. We help, you save. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California and via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
Jefferson's Wings, Burgers, Oysters, located in Lenexa and North Kansas City. Proud lunch partner of Cody and Gold.
What's up, KC? This is Matt Quattrero. On your way home from the ballpark, make sure to listen to Vern's postgame show right here on 96.5 The Fan. I will not be listening.
96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We'll get to the trash of the day here in about 20 minutes. Also later on today, Josh Vernier, 12:30. Check in with our Royals insider, Jay Binkley, in studio on the 1 o'clock hour to talk NFL draft as we are 8 days away from the draft. That means also a week from tomorrow is our draft party at the Landing in Liberty. Hope to see all of you up there. Broadcast starts at 6 o'clock. Chance to win $965 if you can correctly pick how the draft is going to go, plus an autographed helmet from one Jawan Taylor. But let's talk about the future sites for maybe the Royals and the Chiefs. And it'd been a long time since we have talked about Clay County.
Probably
maybe
since a rendering came out since years ago.
Clay County being in the mix. And so this all got stirred up again yesterday. Jonathan Ketz over at Fox 4 had the story initially on this, that they got new information. I'll just read you some of the article. They got new information out of Clay County leaders Tuesday saying that a new poll has been conducted to see if there is interest in bringing the Royals north of the river. Residents got asked these questions around Sunday, April 13th to gauge their interest in a stadium in that county. And it goes back to go through and sum up kind of where the renderings were that you were referencing, Cody. It looked like near 18th and Fayette in North Kansas City, and what a ballpark could look like near 12th and Cherry in downtown. And that was the two renderings. And at the time, remember, we both liked the North KC rendering, the concept of it.
I thought it was the best of the renderings, actually. Yeah.
Looking, in the distance, you could see downtown off in the distance, but their whole idea, it seemed like that was really, really neat. And we can get more specifics about that in a second, but it goes on in this article to mention that Democratic Missouri State Senator Maggie Nuremberg says there have been very close conversation with the Royals about bringing a ballpark to North Kansas City. She, by the way, represents Clay County, just so you know, in the state legislature. She did also say, though, in the same piece, I have not had direct conversations with the Royals on this issue, but she does have an understanding that they're very serious about this spot. I think it's really going to come down to if we're going to do a stadium in Missouri. This is, I think, the top spot right now. That is one person's opinion, obviously, who is involved in this, the Missouri State Legislature.
And represents that area.
And that's important to know. I'm not saying, but just for context. My question with this is a couple things. We heard from John Sherman, June or July, they hope to announce. We haven't heard about the Clay County site for 8 months, so at least, right? If not more.
No, way longer.
Yeah, because
pre-vote.
Yeah, so okay, let's call it
maybe 2 years, a year and a half.
800 days?
Yeah.
600 days?
So this one was dead and buried and gone. And we always viewed it, you and I from the beginning, viewed it as a long shot. Is it weird that I actually think I still don't think it'll be the site chosen, but I think it has a better shot now than it did then because you still get near downtown. Is it a downtown ballpark? No. I kind of want to be clear on that. Yeah. Is this downtown baseball? No. Is it closer to downtown baseball than being at like that, let's say, town center side? Yes. It's closer to being that level of there, and you would get yourself close enough-ish to downtown that maybe you could extend yourself to that area. They still have the same problems. It would take massive infrastructure to do it. But I'll say, I like this spot. Like if you just said, hey, choose suburbs, and it's not just because of the area of town I live in. I know that'd be an easy excuse.
Close to you.
It would be dangerously close to me. I understand that they would be like, well, you're just choosing it because of that.
Yeah.
No, I could see why that would be a logical leap. I'm just telling you that's not. Golden, I've had enough conversations off air. He knows that that's not it. If you made me say, hey, let's go to the town center or somewhere in that like Overland Park, Olathe area or Legends, or it could be the North Kansas City side, North Kansas City. The river market's already kind of growing a little bit. They just broke ground on that area near the current stadium. You would be close-ish to downtown. Not downtown, admittedly. And I like the area that they put it in and the site plans that they had put out for the renderings in that area. I would like this site better. And if she's saying, I think this is like the Royals way of being like, we're still trying to kind of stick to our original plan. And we're trying to be close to it, but we can't necessarily make the old plan work.
How many of the same questions remain with the Clay County site from before? Because one,
infrastructure.
The everybody acknowledged that the infrastructure, ingress, egress, like if you're coming from the south in particular, how do you make that work? And the amount of money that would be required to make that site work from a traffic, et cetera, standpoint, which was a fair question at the time, and that one would still obviously remain if they're back in the mix.
Yeah.
The other part was, okay, well, of course, how are you paying for it? And the talk there was because of population difference from Clay County compared to Jackson County. Yeah, you're talking about a full cent or 1%, whatever. Yeah, full cent, I think is what it was for a sales tax. And is that something that people can actually handle, frankly, up there? But in this piece from Fox 4, it mentions that they believe maybe there's some new mechanisms of funding, which goes back to the bill that is still sitting in the Missouri legislature, which would allow them to have some similar tools to get the financial package together, as in creating their version of, let's call it the Star Bonds on the Missouri side. We know Kansas already has that. So that's what's interesting. That'd be the only thing that has changed that would, to me, make me believe that site could be back in play. It would have to be because they believe they're going to eventually get this bill done in the Missouri legislature that would allow them access to more funding to create these separate entertainment districts. Because otherwise, the 1% or the 1 cent, issue and hurdle still is there. The rendering we all love, but I still think none of these sites are perfect. We all know that, but it's just weird. Why are we hearing about it? 3 months before the reported new deadline.
I don't think the Royals want to be in the Kansas suburbs. That is so the antithesis of what their dream description was. The Chiefs never described their dream. It's either I fix Arrowhead or we don't really care. We'll go anywhere in the city. And she got asked about the Chiefs practice facility in that area that got mentioned. And she had said, even though she's in Missouri, she would prefer that they just stay at the Arrowhead side and do the Jackson County thing and stay where they are and, kind of represent that part of the town and that part of the area and just kind of be where they were. I think, and it's not to say that it can't work. I told you, I still think it's kind of crazy for the people to be like, well, they go to Kansas. That's it. I'm out. That's nuts.
We've addressed it.
Doesn't matter which part of Kansas it's in. I'm going to go watch the Royals. Doesn't matter which part of Missouri or Kansas
my
they're
entire
in.
life, you guys know I live on the Kansas side. My entire life, I have had no problem going out to the Truman Sports Complex.
I never thought about
going
it,
to T-Mobile Center downtown. I have season tickets for the KC Current, also in Missouri. I have no problem. I really can't. I don't want to say I can't fathom because I get there's some people that nobody's ever going to be. You're not going to get everybody on board.
Yeah, sure.
But I don't get the notion of oh my gosh, for one of the local pro teams, you might have to drive an extra 15 minutes across this imaginary border and spend money in another state. I do it every year, my entire life for sporting events. Every year.
Yeah, and it's not a huge deal.
Multiple times
I'll just
a
be
year.
honest. Especially for football, I would just tell you, because you go 8 times in a 16-week turn. It's really not that bad. But I think that kind of goes back to the baseball thing, which is we want to build a site. We want to be centrally-ish located. Downtown is about as central as you can get. You can get there in 20 minutes from your spot in Overland Park. I can get there in 20 minutes from my spot in the Northland. People who are coming from the airport area or Olathe. Everyone's driving a similar-ish, not perfect, similar-ish distance, where I think that's how they want to do. That's how they want in the end to do baseball. If they're serious, and these conversations have really happened, I think it's about that. I think it's about, if we can't make downtown work, will Clay County give us the money and we can be close?
Yeah, and the site, if you guys remember, the renderings can change and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they would.
The actual, the rendering from the original Clay County site that was brought up, the original rendering, the pitch there was Wrigleyville. That was the pitch. Hey, we're gonna. You got
Wrigleyville's awesome.
And anybody that's been to Wrigleyville, it's that neighborhood feel. It's not a downtown feel. It's a neighborhood feel, but could be really interesting and it could still give you the avenue to have the retail around the area and the real estate that the Royals once, from the very beginning, claimed they wanted to own, right? And they wanted to have the local development to bring in more revenue that they claim would go back into the team. And that was the whole gist. And that's why you and I, the 119th and Null site thing,
it's just already established, more established? I don't know.
Where it didn't make as much sense. Whereas this Wrigleyville thing could be interesting. I'm still skeptical that they end up in Clay County, but the fact that it's being brought back up is kind of interesting. Remember, Clay County is also trying to establish a Clay County Sports Authority through the Missouri legislature as well, giving them the ability to do that. So I'm wondering if that's where these comments are coming from.
Yeah, and it very well could be. Again, they're trying to get these things going, but the fact that She admits in there she has not had direct conversation with the Royals yet, but is also at that same time claiming that those conversations have taken place. I'm looking at the renderings again. That was the best rendering of the Royals designs.
It's a cool site. It was.
I don't know if it would look like that in the end. I'm just saying that's the best. And and people are always just mentioning if both North Kansas City and Joco defeat the purposes of a downtown stadium, why move? I just think the North Kansas City location is closer to offering that. I'm not claiming it's a downtown stadium. It's not. And why move? They don't want to be a Kauffman anymore.
They've already said no matter what happens here, they're not playing at Kauffman after the 2030 season.
We can ask that question. If you and I'm not saying I go out to Kauffman Stadium and it's 70 degrees. I really do have a hard time fathoming a ballpark that is prettier than that one. I love Kauffman Stadium.
Yeah.
It's not even that. But I'm just if you just want to deal with what we're saying, they are not going to play in that stadium over the long
That part is over. That's the only thing we do know the answer. That's the only thing we do know the answer.
The question is, what do you want them to do now that they're not going to play in Kauffman Stadium after 2031? That's just dead. We could talk about why not just Kauffman, but that defeats the purposes of figuring out where the stadium's actually going to go. To everyone's point, it's we just drive over the city. If I'm going to a sporting game, I drive to KCK. If I'm going, I don't know. And I think you and I are probably in the minority. I get it. We don't I just don't care. I'll just go where the
I also think
stadiums
it's
are.
something that, and the numbers will bear it out over time, if in fact one of these teams does move out of Missouri, that's something that I think is very easy to say in the moment. And then fast forward 7 years from now, are you still thinking that way? Look, and this means I'm not even trying to be a jerk with this comment, but the one fan or two fans that say we're not going to do it, it's not like the Royals are going bankrupt because
they think they'll find more people who hadn't been coming from the Northland.
Right. There's plenty of people on the flip side that weren't willing to drive there where they're at now from. Maybe it's Olathe, maybe it's Overland Park, maybe it's Paola, DeSoto, whatever. And now they're oh, I'm willing to go there. On a Wednesday night, is it easier for me to go blank spot than this spot? It'll be different for everybody. It'll be different for everybody depending on where you live in the Kansas City metro area. But acting that they're just now going to have no season ticket base or anything like that if they move to a different area of town is, I'm sorry, just not accurate.
We know tomorrow the NFL draft will be 1 week away as it is tomorrow. Brett Veach will actually talk at 10 a.m. about their pre-draft process right here on 96.5 The Fan, your home for the Kansas City Chiefs, 96.5 The Fan. But last week, as a part of the beginning parts of media availability and the free agent signings, Charles Omenihu spoke to the media, and Nate Taylor, our friend who will join the show tomorrow, was writing it up on The Athletic about it. And in the article, Charles Omenihu once again had bold things to say about his game. I'm going to make everyone regret not giving me the long-term deal, right? I'm going to prove everyone wrong. The kind of attitude he's had over the last couple of years. And what I was trying to ask myself is, because this relates to the draft, is can the pass rush just be better than it was a year ago if we're counting on and believe Charles Omenihu when he says career year? It's weird because if we're just talking about play, I actually think the answer is yes. But it comes with a massive caveat of his entire career, which is, are you going to be on the field for 17 games? Because if he's on the field, I actually think Charles Omenihu's he's telling the truth.
Right.
He will prove people that he's worth the contract or worth more than the contract he signed. My old question with Omenihu is not about ability or his motivation level or what he does with that motivation. It's whether or not he can play.
Well, there's a reason why he came back. There's a reason why he came back on a one-year deal. We know that was not the plan when free agency began. And you saw the Turk Wharton deal, and so you just assumed he was going to get way more money for his services moving forward. But one time when he missed, it was his own doing, right? He had the suspension due to a off-the-field issue. Then the other time in an AFC title game, he tore an ACL, which caused him to miss, 80% of last season, 90% of last season, and then he came back. So can he stay healthy? Can he stay away from any off-the-field issues? If he does that, he's playing a full season, and I think he could have one of his best years of his career, and then he potentially could go sign somewhere else again after this next season on a multi-year deal and get that. Otherwise, he'll be playing on a one-year deal the rest of his career. If he doesn't stay healthy
if he plays 11 games, even if he has 8 sacks in those 11 games, he'll just get a one-year deal with whatever team, like you said. Yeah. Do you think that it's enough to just count on him? I mean, I know they'll draft a defensive lineman. I'm not arguing that. But can they go into the season knowing that the primary output they're getting from the defensive line is Chris Jones, Mike Dana, Charles Omenihu, and George Karlaftis again? Because that's really the question you're asking yourself about Omenihu is, are they good enough on edge based on his own personal admittance that he's going to wreck the league again? Like, I just think Omenihu is a really, really good player when he plays. Like, maybe borderline a little underrated in the league when he plays. But you and I have said that maybe for a couple of years now, Gold. And I don't know, one year, it was a suspension for off the field stuff one year, right? And then last year, obviously, it was him coming back from the eventual Achilles injury, I believe it was, in the AFC Championship game. So, like, he's constantly having to try to work his way back. If he's fully healthy, I love what Charles Omenihu brings to the team. I also do like that he is, for the most part, never wavered in his confidence as a player, and when he plays, backs it up to a pretty good extent.
No, he has. No, he has throughout his career, and you always like the fact that a player is going to go and motivate. We know he was very upset at the time when free agency opened up. Initially, he was vocal on Twitter and social media. People took that as like he was mad with the Chiefs and he wasn't going to sign here, and ultimately he came back. It's just he was frustrated. He thought he was worth a certain dollar amount. The Chiefs were not willing to go there, and then he went on the open market and he found out, you know what? Hey, the Chiefs weren't wrong. That is what my market is. And so that's a tough pill to swallow for anybody, whether we're talking about an athlete or anybody. If you think you're worth more and everybody's telling you you're not, that's a tough thing to hear. And so that's why he was so vocal, I assume, on social media.
That's what that Tennessee quarterback's hearing right now.
Yeah, wow. People are I
think he's being blacklisted.
At the end of the show yesterday, we said it's some not even a conspiracy theory, but just like very clearly they're going to make sure that he doesn't win this battle. Going back to the Tennessee,
because no other team wants to be put in that position, and if you cross the picket line, which is I think what would happen here. Do we all agree that if UCLA gave him the $4 million, they're essentially crossing the picket line against every other team in college football? Yeah. There's an unforeseen strike happening right now against this player. He's obviously talented enough to go there.
Their offer reportedly is also significantly less.
Well, they probably have a little less money to spend around later in the system.
He's not getting what he made at Tennessee ever. That's not happening. Like, you know what I mean? Like that.
I think that's why Tulane dropped out.
Yeah, he's not getting the amount of money that he just turned down from stay. If he would have stayed at Tennessee. He made what's going to now turn out to be a terrible financial decision. He got awful advice. We said that at the time. Anyway, not to go back down that road. Let's get to the trash of the day.
Trash of the day.
All right, we go to an international story. A smuggling ring. What are they smuggling, you might ask? We'll get to that in a second.
Drugs, guns, those are the normal things.
This story comes from Madrid. Spanish police have arrested 2 people in connection with the sale of exotic felines. A cat smuggling ring.
Yeah. Smuggling cats.
Authorities seized 19 animals in an operation in Manacor, I believe. The civil guard said in a statement more than 40 irregular animal passports from countries such as Russia, Belarus, and China were also found. The operation began in March. The suspects are alleged to have offered for sale white tigers, clouded leopards.
Oh, these aren't just your regular old house cats.
These are
big cats.
Yeah, cats. They were asking around $68,000. Also, hyenas, black leopards, pumas. Yeah, the whole Lion Kingdom.
You got too much money, in my opinion. If you're just sitting around your house one day and you're like, hey, you know what I really want? Some black market hyenas. Can you, just buy a new sports car or something. You don't need a hyena. I guess who is Gold, even if you had that kind of money, who in your circle of people is not telling you you don't need a clouded leopard or a white tiger this weekend or a hyena for $60,000? What the hell are you going to store that thing in? What contractor do you get to get the hyena cage? And I do also wonder, how you even get in that game. How do you start in the side business of the sale of exotic felines?
You got to go down a long tunnel, I think, to get there.
Yeah, I don't think that's just oops, one day I accidentally stumble into dealing in hyenas. I think you got to, your crime history really went down an interesting path. Or in your family history of dealing in exotic animals or something, your dad's, you take over the family business,
Tiger King-esque. He wasn't smuggling, but still, how did you get involved in that?
I can understand.
It's all
how,
it's
if
your
you
upbringing.
had tigers, I could see how you're selling one tiger to the exotic animal dealer, but how do you get to be the person who's trying to smuggle them across international waters? I guess I don't know. You think you can get away with that? Do you got to bribe a lot of people? Must be good money in it. Otherwise, why would you do it?
They're selling them for $68,000.
What do you think your cost is on that? If you're selling the hyena for $68,000, what do you think you purchased the hyena for? Knowing your overhead, let's ask a real business question. You got overhead, right? You got to bribe people. You have to physically purchase the animal. You got to transport it. If you're charging $68,000 to the inevitable buyer, what's your cost on that animal? $12,000, $15,000? I got to be getting and the risk part, right? I got to be thinking I'm only paying $10,000.
I mean, but smuggling has been going on since this dawn of time. You know what I mean? With different things. I don't know what the overhead is, but the idea of smuggling animals and stuff been going on for centuries. This is not overall a new concept, right? We're just hearing about it. It's probably much tougher to do now than it was then, but it's in terms of the enforcement. But people have been smuggling animals for centuries.
We've asked this question before, in a friend group, right?
Yeah.
We constantly ask it about any kind of thing. If I asked you, Gold, all right now, because I don't know how to get on the dark web, or I've never made an attempt to get on the dark web.
Sure.
Right now, Gold, I needed you to procure one exotic hyena for me, the exact one that is printed. How many days, months, years? You're starting right now. It's your only goal. I'm paying you $100,000 a year to find me one hyena.
It's my only job?
It's your only job. How long before you could deliver a hyena to me?
6 months.
Okay.
If that was my job and that's all I had to focus on.
Yeah, I'm paying you like you're making $100,000 a year.
Within 6 months.
And you have no inroads. You don't know anybody
6
in the
months.
exotic animal game now. You're going to have to convince them you're not a cop or an agent or anything else. You're going to have to go through some sources to do it. I think it might take me a year. Maybe 6 months? 6 months, but 40 hours a week, right? I want you to treat it like a regular job, Gold.
Yeah.
The only thing you're worried about is getting on the dark web and how to find me a hyena.
Yeah,
Cody,
6 months.
You're talking.
Maybe less.
You're speaking like you're actually.
You're
just
too much cost overrun. I don't need a hyena.
No. You asked how much it's going to be, or how long it's going to be.
I can get you that hyena quicker than Drew ever shooting under 100 at Augusta.
Gold said 6 months, and you go, okay. You're actually considering the offer. You're actually you know what?
It's name that tune.
Yeah.
He says 6 months. Okay, find me that hyena. Go quit this job and go find me a hyena.
Terrible.
Someone says you can probably get them for a few $100. Smuggling costs $3 to $5. Rest is profit. They think the hyena's cheap.
Do you guys just sit and consider situations where you have
All the
everything,
time.
where you guys
Yes.
just know exactly how you would go about it? You would never do it, but just a few $100. Smuggling costs $3 to $5K, no problem.
Someone says
The rest is
30
easy.
days. They think I'm being too conservative with the number.
They can give me one so much faster
30
than you.
days. They claim 30 days.
It's Drew, these are the kind of hypotheticals, and I can't speak for everyone's friend group. These are the kind of hypotheticals I would entertain with a friend group, right? How long it would take you to get, let's just say you took it up a notch, and you're how long would it take you to get a kidney? Unlimited resources. We're just talking time. Money is not the problem. I got Mark Zuckerberg cash. How long could I get a black market kidney? If it's just me,
by the
I
end
don't
of
have
the
his
week. By the end of
resources.
the week.
I don't have his. I don't have his connections.
Maybe earlier.
But I have unlimited money. How quickly
By
can
the
I
end
get
of the
someone's
week.
kidney?
Yeah, by the end of the week.
You might be able to get it sooner than just
That kind of money? That kind of money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of money. You think? By a week, right?
Easily.
But $100,000 a year. You're gonna have to
It's
source
gonna take
this
some
a little
time.
bit.
It's gonna take some time.
Into the week, Gold's just on a table getting a kidney transplant.
Imagine hyenas patrolling your
Today
mini decks,
is Cody and Gold Hypothetical Edition. That's what today is on April 16th. Nothing but hypotheticals on Cody and Gold. That's what we do today.
It's going to be the name of this hour.
Up next, we going to get to the Chiefs Red half hour. We'll get another mock draft sounder in and talk about where does this one position rank among a need for us looking at the Chiefs next week.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Well, the NBA play-in tournament got going last night. More action tonight. And during the NBA play-in tournament, FanDuel is giving all new customers a shot at $250 in bonus bets. Join FanDuel today. You'll get started with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So from three-pointers to steals to assists, FanDuel has so many ways to bet your favorite player props. Plus, after the game tips off, you can even combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to get in on all the NBA play-in tournament action. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
At Diamonds Direct, our experts go the extra mile to ensure you have the tools to say I do with absolute confidence. Our promise to you is a completely risk-free shopping experience rooted in transparency, education, and integrity. No pressure, no intimidation, just clarity and confidence in your purchase. But we're about more than just price. Everything is backed by our exclusive guarantees. Put our tools to the test against any competitor, and our expert staff will ensure you get the very best overall value and unforgettable experience. Learn more at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Jefferson's has a brand new happy hour designed to save you money. Enjoy half off appetizers and half off your bar tab. 7 days a week at Jefferson's Lenexa and Jefferson's North Kansas City. Yeah, you heard that right. Half off your bar tab during happy hour at both locations. And it gets even better. Mondays are all day happy hour. Plus, they've got reverse happy hour every night. Whether you're catching the game or just kicking back with family and friends, Jefferson's in Lenexa and North Kansas City is the place to be. Proudly local and always delicious. Jefferson's. Wings, burgers, oysters.
Are you prepared for the change in seasons? Take advantage of Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Router's $69 seasonal HVAC tune-up deal to help prevent costly breakdowns and ensure your heating or cooling system is running at peak efficiency. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Our licensed technicians and exceptional service guarantee will give you peace of mind. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California and via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
You could think you found your dream home online. The kitchen island looks perfect for your inner chef. The backyard, a paradise for your green thumb. And that extra room, hello walk-in closet. But here's the twist. The lot next door just got rezoned for years of construction. And this sound, yeah, you're going to be hearing a lot of that. Don't let your dream home turn into a nightmare. Work with the expertise and ethical training of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
Man, are you over 40 and struggling with low energy, not feeling like yourself? Low T Center's testosterone replacement therapy is the solution. Get started today by visiting one of our conveniently located clinics. Meet a medical provider and get back to feeling your best. This April only, the consultation is free. Treatment is tailor-made just for you and is covered by most major insurance. Get treated at our centers or from home. Why wait? Book your appointment now at lowtcenter.com. That's lowtcenter.com.
Gain Super Flings are here to take your laundry to the next level.
Talking about Gain Super Flings. Super-sized laundry packs. These things are huge. Super fresh, super clean. Gain Super Flings.
Gain Super Flings laundry packs have 4 times the Oxy cleaning power and 3 times the Febreze freshness versus Gain Original Liquid.
Super fresh, super clean. Gain Super Flings.
Gain Super Flings for next level laundry.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Straight Talk, we are all about no-brainers. Calling grandma for her recipe, no-brainer. Streaming one more episode at 2 a.m., big no-brainer. Getting real unlimited data where you buy bananas, the ultimate no-brainer. Switch now and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 5/19/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-source single line activation on qualifying plan. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
It is the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Getting closer and closer to the draft. We'll have another mock draft look in just a bit. Plus, Jay Binkley going to join us, our draft insider. He'll join us at 1 o'clock in studio. He's gearing up for their big draft special next Thursday night at the Landing in Liberty. We're all going to be up there. Going to be a great night. Waiting to see what the Chiefs do at 31. Plus, look, there's just plenty of intrigue in the top 10, even more now than there was a few days ago with questions about the Giants and Shedeur Sanders and could the Saints be in play there? Is Travis Hunter actually going to go number 2 overall? There's plenty of intrigue. You know there's going to be a trade that surprises all of us at some point in the draft, which is why it'll make the draft contest we're doing that much more interesting and, frankly, difficult to try to figure out how the first 32 picks of the 2025 draft, which is taking place in Green Bay, is going to go. And I also can't wait to see what the scene looks like there in Wisconsin. We know what it's been here in Kansas City, in Detroit in recent years. Green Bay, having gone there for a Packers and Chiefs game, the bars and the rooftop bars just right next to the stadium and otherwise a pretty small town. The draft setup could be just insane. And that literally the entire town, literally the whole town is going to be shutting down for that.
I do like that the NFL, understanding that they don't really love cold weather Super Bowls, has at least allowed cities like Kansas City and Green Bay and some of these other markets. There's only 32 of these, right? So let's take advantage of it a little bit and allow these people to allow these other cities to kind of get their chance to do the draft. So yeah, I love that it's in Green Bay.
Yeah.
I like that they're doing the cold weather stuff.
I think what is it? Pittsburgh's coming up too. I think maybe even there's been a few. Obviously, Kansas City, Cleveland, and Detroit have had it recently, but I think they've booked it out a couple of years now. And it's been a great thing that the NFL's done once they moved it out of always having it in New York or whatever, and then they kind of rotated in Chicago for a little bit. But it's been pretty cool to see. Thinking of the draft though. A position that I think more and more fans would be upset to see early is guard. And most of the mock drafts, if they go offensive line, have them taking a tackle. But there's been a few we've gone through over the last couple weeks into a month that have had guard. Where would you even put guard? Positional need, I guess acceptance for you as a sports fan, Chiefs fan.
I want to talk about it because there's so many national media members think that they're taking one in the first couple of rounds.
Because number one, depending on who you talk, number one is either, for most people, I think, the consensus, defensive line or offensive lineman, but not necessarily guard, right? So let's go defensive line / edge as one position group, tackle as another. Let's separate the offensive line group because in the betting markets, they just list O-line and it counts as both. But if we separate tackle and guard, I would put offensive tackle as the second position group that I would be fine with them drafting in the first behind defensive line, which includes edge rusher and tackle.
It'd probably be third for me, but it wouldn't be way off.
Second then?
If it's so, defensive line would be one, and then I would probably end up at like a skill position would be my guess before.
So like
maybe
wide
even
receiver?
corner. Yeah,
Okay.
it'd be tight. Like I'm not saying offensive tackle would be there, but it's like in the first round. I told you, it's like my hang up is I want to make sure that they're getting a position that helps them now. That's more important for me, at least in the moment. But it's probably close. Look, here's the problem with guard, and this is where I don't understand like this immediate need. I'm not saying that there's not questions about what do you do in the long term, but right now I'm just going to assume, because that's clearly the plan, that Trey Smith got guard locked up for 5 years on one half of the side, and then I kind of think Kingsley's got a chance to start there 2 or 3 years. So, like, I don't see the immediate need other than to offer conversations. These are the list of positions, and I'm curious, stop me when. These are the positions I would put as a higher need than guard for Kansas City. Offensive tackles you mentioned, and defensive line, both spots, defensive tackle and defensive end if we're breaking it down individually. Corner, wide receiver, running back, safety. Like it might be only above punter and kicker as far as direct need in the draft this year for me. Maybe I'm just too optimistic, but they've got Norzad, Caliendo, and Kingsley to compete for the spot.
It's way down the list. I would put it in the same category as drafting a safety. I think when they brought back Mike Edwards and
they bought themselves time there
to
too.
me, they've told me that they're not going to spend a pick on safety, and if they do, it's going to be way later in the draft. So yeah, I would go defensive line, edge tackle, running back, corner, wide receiver, before I would even start having a conversation about a guard. But I get the sense they will draft one at some point. You know, I think they will draft one even if it's the 5th round. I don't know if they have a 5th round pick, but you get the point. Late round pick. So that's where I'm like, nobody should be mad with one of the 3 7th round picks they have if they spend it on guard. Like that's
but that's where I would put I wouldn't be mad if they took a punter there either. So like I'm not, I just think generally maybe don't draft punters, but once we start talking about the 7th round, there are no bad. They don't have a 5th. That one went in the DeAndre Hopkins trade. Okay. But when we start talking about those positions of need, it's like I would put defensive end and defensive tackle ranked above it twice. Like if you said, hey, by position and how many you need, I would put defensive end there twice ahead of need before guard and defensive tackle there twice. I'd rather they take 4 guys at those positions before taking a guard. Like that's how far down the list it is for me this year. I'm not saying ever. And if they didn't sign Trey Smith, I'll probably be having a slightly different conversation. Or if they thought they weren't going to sign Trey Smith,
well, we're going to find out.
I'd probably be having a slightly different conversation.
We're going to find out how confident they are in Kingsley / Caliendo / Norzad, basically, depending on how high they take a guard, if they take a guard. Someone said, hey, if they go online, and I mean any O-line other than center, with the 1st and 2nd round pick, I'd be happy. What position group is the only reason we've lost 2 Super Bowls? O-line, right, get help. Yeah, I would argue it's tackle, though, not guard. I hear what you're saying. Yes, the offensive, I would argue they have not lost the 2 Super Bowls where the O-line was a disaster because of the guards that they didn't have on the team. I would say it was because of tackle play.
Yeah, I think Caliendo was the thing now he got kind of burnt in that Philly game.
Well, the entire team got burnt. I mean, that one is one of those where it's like the entire roster was a disaster.
Everyone has to take the L on the offensive line, not just left tackle, not just left guard, the whole thing. That's why, again, like tackle would be higher. I think some of them are kind of like I wouldn't take, like we mentioned, I just said I'd take 4 defensive tackles and defensive edge players before I take a single guard. I wouldn't do that for offensive tackle. I wouldn't do that for safety. It's like guard might very well be last on my list before punter and kicker or long snapper, which are just positions you don't draft, right? Like I just wouldn't draft it unless it was the 7th round. It wouldn't be on any of my list outside of that, unless it's the guy who you think might be a guard, but could still be a right tackle. Then we're having a slightly different conversation. Then I would re-engage in that.
Or they internally
hate Kingsley
do not like
option,
their option of Kingsley or Caliendo.
Rather than draft
guard.
a linebacker over a guard?
Okay, linebacker. That was the one spot I knew I was forgetting a position. Oh, they just signed
I think
Bolton.
guard would still be in front
Tranquil.
of guard is still in front of linebacker and safety.
Okay, just based on positional importance, linebacker would be below it. It's one of the few. That's a good one to point out, Drew. That's one of the few I would probably rank below because, yeah, they do have a huge chunk of their linebacker core kind of locked up for now, and that's the kind of position, like guard a little bit too, but linebacker is legitimately a position I think I can find the starter in the same year I draft him. Like, there's no, like, messing around. Like, I can just take a 2nd-round linebacker, and they're immediately my starter. So, like, if next year I need a linebacker, I can just find that next year. I don't have to draft ahead at linebacker. I can, but you don't have to. you can just kind of find that. So, like, it's a little bit different for me from a positional value. So maybe that's one of the few. Oh, God, they're going to take a linebacker in this one, and I'm going to lose, like, in the first round.
No.
And I'm going to lose.
I don't think
I'm gonna
has there
lose
been a
my
single
mind.
has there been a single
Campbell.
mock draft that had him taking a linebacker in the first round?
The Chiefs, no, but Jihad Campbell is the guy that would get selected in the first round.
Okay.
He's like an athletic freak of nature. The dude's going to probably go in the teens.
Cincinnati should draft him.
They need
I hear they
They
need
should for
defensive
sure
help.
take somebody on defense.
If they drafted Jihad Campbell, great.
Yeah,
Fine.
I'm
I
serious.
Who are they
I
getting
don't care.
projected to get right now?
Oh, well, it
start
depends on where
there.
you look.
Give me who their pick is in this mock draft, and then we'll.
The pick in this mock draft
Give the
is
Chiefs.
your boy Derek Harmon.
What? Offensive.
The mock draft we're looking at is from
At 17, they get Derek Harmon? Man, I better may let that dream die. Damn.
from the Beast, Dane Brugler. He came up with this
Oh,
mock
man, I
draft.
respect him too. Damn, he's got him at 17.
7-rounder boys we're looking at here.
Oh God. Okay, let's find out if they
Wait,
get that guard. in the seventh.
Dan Brugler?
Dane Brugler.
Dane Brugler calls himself the Beast?
No, that's the name.
I'm about to have a conversation. I was about to say, come on.
comes out with
I thought there was already a Mr. Beast.
You're allowed to have nicknames that somebody else give you if you self-proclaim yourself. the
Yeah,
Beast.
agreed. It's a problem.
That's where it becomes an
Okay,
issue.
all right.
Somebody else calls you that, but
His draft is called
Dane
the Beast.
Brugler
His, like,
comes
draft
out
guide.
with the Beast
Thank
draft
you.
guide.
He
Okay.
ranks like every player who is draft eligible in the entire thing, and then does a full 7-round.
Gotcha.
mock.
Okay. All right. Let's hear
It's a
it.
big thing in the draft community.
Okay, so round one, there's no trades in this as far as I can tell. He just goes
Beautiful.
straight up. Every single pick that they have. At
Gold's
31,
favorite.
Josh Simmons, offensive tackle from
That's a familiar face.
Ohio State.
Yeah, look, we get it. There's not much more to say about him individually. We've
No,
talked
there's
about him
not.
so much. I'm not going to throw a fit if they draft him there. We've gone over the reasons why they would draft that player, what it could mean for the long term. It would give them multiple options in 2026
Yep.
for left and or right tackle.
If you want to know the players who go directly after him, 35, Luther Burden, so Chiefs fans would lose their mind. Travion Henderson, Drew's guy, goes at 39 in that draft. Ursary, another tackle who's been mentioned, goes 41. So if you're just like, hey, where guys,
Quinshon Judkins,
goes,
44,
yeah,
yeah.
so like if you're just curious, like some of the guys we've mentioned, like you've mentioned Walter Nolan, he goes 25 in this draft. Where does
What are you looking for?
Colston Loveland, 14th
Colts.
overall in this draft. So, like, some of the other, and Eamon Worry, who I mentioned at 31 yesterday, he's got going at 13. There's a couple of swing players in this draft that
He has the
I feel like
Jags
see him all
taking
over
Ash.
the
He has
place. I
the
can't
Jags taking Ashton Genty 5th overall.
Oh, yeah. Do it a third time. You took ETN
bit of
too
a
high
splash
and
for the
Fournette
missing
too
grade.
high. Why not the Jags? That'd be the
New
third.
regime.
That'd be the third time they took a running back in the top 10.
New regime, though.
You ever going to learn a lesson?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Second round pick. This is a new name. Trey Harris, wide receiver from Ole Miss. With
Size?
pick 63.
I'm not familiar with that name. What's his size? Is he like 6'1"? Or is he like 5'7" and runs like a 4.3?
4.5 40. 4.5 40. It looks like.
Oh, so he's not super fast.
More of a playmaking guy.
Possession style receiver, huh?
6'2", 205.
Oh. Well, I'll say that's slightly different than the position because they've got the speed guy. They don't necessarily need the because of Xavier Worthy. I don't know. I actually think that could use
Alec Pierce is his comp.
Okay, I liked Alec Pierce coming out of the draft. That hasn't exactly worked out, but I like that kind of style of wide receiver. It's like better Juju, right?
And
the idea is it's like younger Juju, not better, but younger Juju Smith-Schuster. Okay.
In the last 2 years, he averaged about 18 yards per catch.
In college, that's like the equivalent of 13 in the NFL.
Well,
That's fine.
especially at Ole Miss. I mean, where
Missed
they're
a couple
unleashing
games
it.
last year. Looks like missed 5 games with a lower body injury in 2024. Second team AP All-American.
Obviously, 2 third-round picks for the Chiefs. At 66, defensive tackle Alfred Collins.
That's another new name.
From Texas. He's a guy that's been in that range of
All the way down to
late
round 3,
second into the third as well. And then Cam Scatterbo
No, okay.
at pick 95
Yep, that's a name everybody knows.
from Arizona State.
We've talked about him a lot. I
Does he
don't
fit
think
the
he's the
Chiefs?
right style back for them, even though he's the name and he's fun to watch.
He's got good vision, and the guy just doesn't go down.
Damn, my guy Harold Fannin Jr. goes the pick after Scatterbo. I'd rather have Fannin.
All right, here we go.
Freaking nature
Go
guy.
back to Alfred Collins. Defensive tackle, as you said, 6'6", 332.
Dear God.
6'6", 330. Javon Kinlaw is the comp for him.
Okay.
Here's the strengths listed.
My God.
A+ body type with well-proportioned frame and premium length. Long arm move, swims.
I hope one day to have somebody describe my body as A+ body type.
Yeah.
Like just one time in my life.
It says knee bend and pad level can get away. And very importantly, even though Cody doesn't acknowledge it, his mother was a women's basketball letter winner at Texas. Is that good for you? What about that?
Why
Would work
does
for you?
Zerline keep mentioning that, like, his
Benita,
family?
show some respect to Benita. She was a women's basketball letter winner at Texas in the 90s. So that's the lineage, just the bloodlines.
Good athletes in the family, is what you're saying. God, this is really bad. If any of my kids ever become professional athletes, no one will ever think they're going to make it because I was myself not even a Division I athlete.
It doesn't hurt when you find out their parents were a high-level athlete. That's all. Just add that to the long list of things you're putting together.
I honestly don't. Like, we could argue about the player a little bit at Scattaboo, right? Because I think that you and I both kind of want a more explosive player, maybe. But at pick 96, I'm certainly not victim. So far, Dayton Beluga, like, I wouldn't like come in on a Monday and be upset with this draft.
No, solid. It's solid.
Who do they take in the 4th round? Since he did a 7, like, go and give them all to me.
4th round is where your guard comes in. Bryce Cable from Kansas.
Okay. Okay.
Is he good?
Sure.
Come on, Gold. I'm counting on you for any Kansas knowledge. Come on, man.
Cody, you want me to BS you?
Hey, college podcast kid. Come on, Drew. What do you got?
You want me?
You just followed up the locals way more than the three of us.
You want me to BS you that I was watching the guard play?
Very particular.
No, I was not watching. I know the name.
What do you think of Cabledew? Is that how he pronounces it?
I think it's Cabledew.
Cabledew.
I don't know. Look, I don't know if there's any way to really slice it in particulars about Bryce. I wasn't watching Bryce single-handedly on Saturdays, you know?
Okay, that's fine.
I'm with you, Drew. Neither was I.
You know, I'm going to ask Binkley. You know who would watch guard play on a Saturday?
Bink's probably listening. He'll be ready to go. When he comes in studio with us, he'll have a whole...
Binkley.
No picks in the 5th or 6th round, of course, for the Chiefs either. They got 3 in the 7th. That's where another tackle comes in. Caleb Etienne from BYU. Also tight end Luke Lakey.
All the other Etiennes?
I don't know.
Luke Lakely?
Luke Lakey from Iowa, tight end. And then edge rusher Ethan Downs with Mr. Irrelevant from Oklahoma.
I forgot. Actually, I found my notes on Cabledew. Earlier, you asked.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I forgot.
I apologize.
I had to go back in the
You forgot that you take notes during the game.
My bad. I went back and I pulled up an old folder on my computer. I forgot I had every KU player's notes that I wrote down for the season. My bad, guys. I forgot. He was a 4-year starter. Good quickness off the ball. Keeps chopping his feet through contact. Not much of a knee bender, though, Cody, as a run blocker. That's concerning. Punches with his wide hands. Those were the notes I put down for Cable.
So you think it makes sense for him to go in the 4th round?
Yeah, totally makes sense. Those were my bad, guys. Those were the notes I had in KU players.
I do think an intriguing pick, though, is Luke Lakey. Late, obviously, there's no risk reward really with 7th round picks. There's only reward, I guess. There's no risk at all whatsoever. And of course, you look at the pedigree of Iowa tight ends. And you tell yourself, you know, this actually might be, if you're going to pick a tight end in the 7th round, it might as well be a guy from Iowa.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, again, 7th round picks I'm not going to be offended by. I feel like the 4th rounder, because you've only got those 5 picks in the first 4 rounds, I kind of want you to not take a guard. But it's in the 4th round. I'm not going to like lose my mind. I'd rather see if corner depth or, again, more defensive line depth exists there, especially because the defensive line goes so deep. I don't know if I wouldn't want to spend another pick
guard
there,
picked in the 4th round. Does he have a legit? Are they
overall? No, they'd be in the running. They'd have like
I was going to say,
You'd be competing.
Are they giving him a shot against Kingsley? Okay,
that's the appeal of taking him in the 4th. Is that they would be in the running day 1 of training camp. I think that is the number 1 camp battle. Like, truthfully, is that I think if they took one in the 3rd or the 4th round at guard, I think that is the number 1 camp battle going into St. Joe next year. Is that can somebody beat out Kingsley or, if it's not Kingsley, one of the other 2 guys for guard? Yeah, I think that'd be there. Do you like the local? Do you like, who's your favorite? If you could draft one Kansas player, the corner who gets mentioned,
Kobe
Devin
Bryant.
Neal. Okay, Kobe Bryant. Yeah, I was like, I didn't know.
Kobe Bryant's intriguing later on in the draft. He's not going to be
mocked anywhere from the 3rd to the 5th round.
Yeah, he's probably a middle round guy. Kobe Bryant out of the mix. Devin Neal gets the headlines because he's running back and people like a skill position player like that. Kobe Bryant would be a little more realistic to me later on in the draft. A+ body type with well proportioned frame and premium length.
That's what everyone wants to hear about themselves. In this world.
That's exactly right.
A+ body type. Okay.
Premium length. Yeah.
That'd be really concerning if Zerline had a D- body type listed for anybody. That'd be really concerning.
I mean, if they're a 7th round pick, he's just the body's bad, but everything else is fine.
What's the grade for our guy who's like 6'5", 420? I forget his name from Florida.
Didn't list one. This mammoth of a being.
Yeah.
They said he was losing a little weight.
What's the name of the player from Florida?
I can't remember his name.
The 400-pound player.
The D-tackle, yeah.
Desmond Watson.
That's right.
Desmond Watson.
Is he 4 bills?
6'5", 400, 464. We were being nice at 400.
Whoa, he's close to 5.
Yeah.
Dang.
Could you?
I mean, it'd be hard. Like, I don't know how you like.
Can you
I don't know how you
imagine
move
in
the
St.
line to
Joe?
get around him? I'll say.
Can you imagine if we were in St. Joe and it's a 98-degree day? And I know he was in Gainesville. It's humid as heck there. But in St. Joe, we're doing our show. And the first day of padded practice, this dude comes walking down the hill at 6'5", 464. Now, he probably, as you said, maybe he's lost
I
a
wouldn't
little
want
bit.
to block him.
Oh,
No matter how
goodness.
good you are as an offensive lineman, like just blocking him sounds like a nightmare.
Feels like good in the run stuffing department. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Desmond Watson. I don't think there's a write-up on him, I don't think, from Zerline.
Is this on your list of players you hope they draft now?
Sure, in the sixth round, if he's there, I don't know where he's supposed to go. Just because it'd be fun. It'd be fun during training camp, I feel like.
I thought I saw a headline that said he was trying to like shed a few.
Right, but there's a limitation to that. I mean, like shedding a few for him might be still 395 or 400. And that's no disrespect, but like that's just the
pounds.
he's not going from
that's a big
he's not
difference.
going from 464 to
Lighter on your feet.
He's not going from 464 to 310. I
Get him
mean,
awakened 180. See if we can't get him to 400. Play it, just play it 405. 464. 6'6", man. I don't know how you move him. Like I legitimately do, and like I understand those guys are really strong, but like I don't know.
Could you bring him in as the fullback on the tush push?
I think you need.
He's the fullback and he's pushing.
speed, too.
Let's
Does he
imagine a
clog
world.
the
Let's
lane
imagine the
on the
world
opposite end?
like on a team that actually is willing to do QB sneaks. Like it wouldn't happen in Kansas City, but if he was on any other team.
You mean you snap him the ball?
I did see. No. He's not carrying the ball.
Yeah.
Although Florida has had some packages, I believe, this past year where he did.
He was a fullback essentially.
I did go
That's
ahead.
what I'm saying. Yeah, have him as the fullback, and he's the guy pushing. Could you imagine that? Or he's the lead blocker for a second.
I did look it up because I was curious.
He's running over dudes.
Do you want to know the biggest guy in the NFL and the biggest guy in NFL history? Because he would be that.
Would he be the biggest?
He would be the biggest. Last year, the biggest player to play in the NFL was Ravens tackle. Did anybody know how to pronounce his name? Faallele. He was 6'8", 380 pounds, a full 80 pounds less than him.
I'm not sure.
The heaviest player said to be in NFL history is Bears tackle Aaron Gibson, who was listed at 410.
Okay.
So, like, I mean, he'd be playing 50 pounds heavier than any player in NFL history.
Do we know how tall he was at 4'10", though? Because, I mean, 6'6", I wonder if that, I mean, obviously it proportions you out a little bit differently.
Like,
taller.
Mitch over at Kelly sent me a text, and this is a great way to look at this. He's 465. Vince Wilfork, remember how big of a human he was?
Yeah.
He played at 325.
What?
The idea that he is 100 pounds more is like, whoo.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, against Tulane, Florida used this Desmond Watson kid at fullback in the Gasparilla Bowl.
Did it work?
I mean, I don't know. I didn't look up the Gasparilla Bowl, but but it's pro day. Think about, though, this is crazy. As much as we're saying how big this dude is, think about the athleticism he has to have, though, to do what he. So he had 36 reps on the bench press, more than any other player at the combine. Ran a 5.93, guys, for a 40-yard dash. He ran a 5.93, and he's
that's faster than I might run it today.
Well, of course, probably, yeah.
Well, the last time we ran the combine was like 5 years ago in the station. I ran some of that then, but I
with
won't now.
all that weight, he recorded a 25-inch vertical. That's insane.
That's crazy.
He wasn't at the combine, but this is all pro day stuff. He didn't get a combine invite. He would become the heaviest NFL draft pick in history, as you said. Also, he would surpass Trent Brown at 380 pounds.
That's impressive. Someone says Wilfork probably played at 375. Maybe they were just giving him the generous, but I mean, that's still 75 pounds less than him.
Just imagine him lined up at fullback, running full steam ahead at you as Isaiah Pacheco or a rookie running back is behind him. That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, tough way to go about doing a job there.
All right,
New tush push is coming.
Yeah.
If they don't ban it, that's how the Chiefs do it.
Up next, we'll get to what's trending, then we'll get back into what we saw from the Royals last night, specifically on the bullpen usage. That's coming up right here on Cody Gold.
This is Cody and Gold. on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, it's NBA champion Bill Wennington. It's the best time to be a basketball fan. All the thrills and the playoff drama, done sitting on the sidelines and ready to win some real cash? Check out Pick 6 from DraftKings. When it comes to basketball payouts, DraftKings Pick 6 posterizes the competition, including prize picks. Hit all your picks and score higher minimum payouts on Pick 6 Plus. Even more cash if you outscore the competition.
Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code 965. That's code 965 for new customers to play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Better payouts, bigger wins. Only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
If you're like me and you're trying to break through that boring lunch routine, I've got the option for you. I discovered lunch at Hy-Vee Market Grill. Forget the after-lunch fast food coma. The Hy-Vee Market Grill offers fast and fresh options with made-to-order burgers, salads, sandwiches, and wraps like the 3-cheese patty melt, the crispy chicken or Cobb salad, BLT or tenderloin sandwich, and my personal favorite, the peanut butter bacon burger. For high quality and great value, freshen up your lunch routine at the Hy-Vee Market Grill today.
Hop into Hy-Vee for all your Easter needs, like baskets, candy, chocolate bunnies, and more. Treat your family to Easter brunch at the Market Grill. Just $24.99 for adults, $7.99 for children, and kids 5 and under eat free. Staying home? Try Hy-Vee's Easter meal deal for just $30. Get all the fixins you need to feed your ducklings spiral sliced ham, russet potatoes and gravy, green bean casserole, and bakery fresh rolls. Make this your most excellent Easter ever, only at Hy-Vee.
The Grass Pad Man has all the seed you need. Now, who can make your lawn thick, lush, and green? The Grass Pad Man can. He has grass seeds for everybody's plans. Dogs and kids in your yard playing hard. After the fun and the sun, you gotta reseed your lawn. So come on down to the Grass Pad. The Grass Pad's high on grass.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Sometimes it feels like the world is moving at hyperspeed and you can't keep up because it's one thing then another. And don't forget the meeting and the yoga class and the dinner reservation. But then you get into the all-new Nissan Murano and you feel the breeze from the panoramic moonroof while the massaging seats melt away the tension of the day. And you realize that sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all. Shop the all-new Murano at nissanusa.com. Panoramic moonroof massaging leather appointed seats are available features.
Okay, everyone, what did you think of the chocolate bar?
It's too chewy.
Feels kind of chalky.
Too much nougat.
I need to go brush my teeth.
Business is booming for Steph's small marketing research firm.
After all these focus groups, there's only one conclusion. I need more researchers.
And she's way too busy researching.
Does this have peanuts?
To waste time researching resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, it's Cole Riggins, and this is 96.5 The Fan, your home for Royals baseball.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
What's Trending is presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Applied today at bakeru.edu. The Royals are trying to avoid a sweep tonight against the Yankees. If they lose tonight, it would be the longest losing streak of the season. They're trying to avoid losing 3 in a row. Tonight, Chris Bubich, though, which is great news, is on the bump. He's been sensational. 2-1 record, .96 ERA. 6:05 first pitch. Ferns on Deck show gets going at 5 o'clock. They will go up against Clark Schmidt of the Yankees. I believe this is his season debut. Yeah, this is his season debut for the Yankees. Obviously, we're going to talk more about the Royals right after What's Trending. We're going to talk about the bullpen usage and kind of what happened there. But the Royals, man, 8-10, trying to get back on track tonight.
Clark Schmidt, for what it's worth, he pitched pretty well against the Royals in the postseason. But yeah, this is his first start against, or just for the Yankees this year. Next up on What's Trending, the NBA play-in tournament began last night. It does continue tonight, of course. The Warriors won last night, 121-116. Magic won easily over the Hawks in the first 2 games in the play-in tournament. I got to say, the NFL, Major League Baseball, they managed to get their playoffs in a month. 2.5 months is crazy.
It's a long haul, man.
How do you take 10 weeks? And I like watching the NBA playoffs. How do you take 10 weeks to get through them? Adding the play-in games, obviously, the play-in tournament just made that thing a little bit longer. They should probably go back to 5 or even 3-game series in the early rounds of the playoffs to maybe minimize it a little bit. Or, like we said with all these leagues, reduce the number of regular season games. The last 3 weeks of the NBA season were somewhat unwatchable because of the lack of effort and energy from a lot of the playoff teams that had already just kind of decided where they were.
Happened in hockey recently, too. You know, there's some teams that called up a bunch of kids, like, because there's no reason to push some of the vets. That happened a little bit as well. There is, as you said, NBA action tonight.
Management.
Heat and Bulls this evening. That's the first game. The late game tonight, part of the play-in tournament, is the Mavs and the Sacramento Kings. Next on What's Trending, FAMU, Florida A&M University, finalizing a deal to hire Charlie Ward as its next men's basketball coach. That, according to Pete Thamel. Of course, Ward, a former Heisman Trophy Award winner at Florida State, and he was a star basketball player there and in the NBA. So, pretty cool hiring. Obviously, name recognition for FAMU to have a legendary figure going to become a coach. We're seeing this happen more. We're seeing this happen more where former athletes are going, high-level athletes, too, are going back and coaching at various levels and trying to build their way up. I really think a lot of this is still
Heisman
paved
Trophy
by
winner coaching college basketball. Interesting.
Yeah, well, but he was also a really good basketball player. But yeah, I also think what we're seeing at the quote unquote lower levels of collegiate sports and these guys coming up, former athletes, I do think this is where Deion does get credit, and he has paved the way for this to happen more. We're former players, specifically
him and JJ Redick, honestly.
Yeah, yep. Specifically, in a lot of cases, at HBCUs too, and working their way up through the college ranks. And Deion, of course, has had success at Colorado, which makes it easier for everybody else to do the same.
Next up on What's Trending, don't forget, if you haven't signed up, you can still join us Saturday, May 3rd for the second Cody and Gold road trip. Last time we did this was for Bobby Wood Jr. We're driving down to Springfield to catch our guy Cags in Springfield against the Cardinals and the Naturals. We are all going to go out there. We got 70 people right now, 70 listeners signed up to head down with us. We'd love for you to join us. Details up at 965thefan.com. You can see the link right there. $10 tickets to the games out there at Hammons Field, which I'm told, by the way, people really love that field. I did not realize
that. It's a nice venue, yeah.
When we booked it, but people really do kind of love the venue. Love for you to come out and join us. If you'd like to join us for the $10 tickets, you can. We're going to meet at Harbell's Bar around the corner before the game for those who just want to hang out and get a drink before, and for those who might want to get a T-shirt as well. Those are sold separately for $10 as well. If you need information on those and you're going on the road trip, just hit us up. 913-586-7965 or on social at Alex Gold, at Cody B. Tap. I have had a lot of people, and I get it. The shirt's cool. It's from Ray Gun. It's blue. It's got CAGs in the cursive script. I know a lot of you are interested in purchasing that if you're not going on the road trip. I'm not saying that'll never happen down the road, but for the sake of this argument, we're saving them for the people who are driving down to Springfield.
And you can only pick them up in
Springfield. You can only pick them up in Springfield. So if you're going down and you haven't gotten on the order form sheet yet for the T-shirts, let us know. We'll send you the link. Or if you're planning on getting the tickets and then you want the link for the T-shirts, you just let us know. You're not obligated to get the shirt. You can just come hang out. But, we're many of us matching as possible. It's kind of fun.
Excited to head down there. Also, one lucky listener is going to be selected to throw out the first pitch. So somebody that buys tickets through our link will be randomly selected to throw out the first pitch right down there on Saturday, May 3rd, which would be a lot of fun, too.
Yeah.
That'll be on video and everything. No pressure.
Ooh, man. Don't put the heat on somebody.
Got to.
I've already had people like vie for, making an argument for people that are coming on the trip saying, hey, this would be a really good person. We're going to try to decide it randomly, I believe.
Yeah, it'll be the Cardinals, I think, are going to draw a name or something. We'll find out the details.
Somebody said, hey, my son's graduating from Missouri State the week after. If I may suggest somebody to throw out the first pitch.
It will, it'll be random. It will be random, but that'd be pretty cool. That'd be awfully cool.
I think we should all get to throw it. Everybody who comes throws out one ceremonial, the most first pitches, and we set a Guinness World Record.
Yeah, there's no limitation. I mean, it started as one, and now teams do 2, 3, 4 of them. So what's another 60? No big deal.
Don't you want retribution, or do you just want to never be put in that spot ever again? Wouldn't you like some retribution?
I won't do it again. I don't think. I've done it once. I don't need to do it again.
Somebody also sent me a DM yesterday and asked if I would play catch with him when we went down there. Said, hey, you want to play catch? I was like, oh, sure, I guess. I'll bring my glove if you want.
Somebody wanted to drive down with you and split the hotel with you.
They did. Somebody, I don't know who it was, but yesterday on the text line, somebody was like, hey, do you mind? Can I hitch a ride? And I was like, that's an interesting request. I don't think so. I mean, I guess it'd just be me in the car, but then what? Like, what if we don't want to do the same things or hang out in the same places? Plus, we don't know each other. 2.5 hours in the car, that's a marathon of hanging out with someone you've never met. Agreed?
It's either going to make the drive go very quickly, or it's going to be the longest 2.5 hour drive of your life.
Yeah. Well, fresh things to talk about, right? Don't share the same stories. That opens up the possibility of like some fresh conversation. But you're right.
But you can bribe Cody. You can bribe Cody. He's taking bribes if you want to ride down with him, it sounds like. Don't forget, it is the lunch hour, of course. Hope you're having a good Wednesday. On Wednesdays, our official lunch partner on 96.5 The Fan and Cody and Gold is Jefferson's. They got a brand new happy hour that's here to save you money. 7 days a week. Enjoy half off appetizers, half off your bar tab at Jefferson's Lenexa or Jefferson's North Kansas City. That's half off your bar tab at both locations during happy hour. Whether you're going out just to watch the game, maybe you're just looking for a good place to meet up with family and friends, Jefferson's in Lenexa and North Kansas City is the place to be. A restaurant that is proudly local. Jefferson's, wings, burgers, oysters. Appreciate their support of the show. Great spot to grab some wings here on a nice Wednesday.
Yes. I mean, who doesn't like wings? On a sunny day? Is it supposed to rain? I thought it was supposed to rain today. That go away?
I don't think today.
Oh, okay.
We're good today. This weekend's going to be a rain out.
Well, that's my kids got soccer again.
A lot of rain this weekend, man. Yeah.
Oh, boy. We do have another risky proposition, as I've told you before. Kid play date today. So one of the kids in my son's kindergarten class wants to come over and hang out. They're coming over. So like
not her.
Not the girlfriend. I mean, I'm guessing they're still calling themselves that. It seems like it's cooled off a little, although they do still talk about each other a lot. And they still like give each other drawings and stuff. So who knows? No, there's just like another kid who lives nearby who wants to hang out. Parents eventually do this thing because their kid asks enough that you don't know what to do. My kids are constantly trying to plan stuff. I sent you guys a text the other day. Desmond came home with a piece of paper that it was a girl, I don't want to say her name, but like a different girl. It said, hey, I'm supposed to go to this girl's house tonight. He's in kindergarten. I was like, well, that's just not a thing. He's like, no, it's fine. You said you don't have her number. I got her number. And I was like, excuse me. And not kidding, like in the style of like a Toys R Us cartoon video or something, the number written down has like 3 backwards numbers. One number you're not quite sure that I'm assuming is her parents' cell phone number. I can't be sure. I did not text it. We did not go to their house that night. It's not even a kid I've met. I don't know. It's weird, man. Having kids is weird. You're put into a lot of awkward social situations.
Sounds like it.
Just
sounds like it. Coming up in 20 minutes, Josh Vernier, our Royals insider, going to join us. We'll check in with him as we do each and every Wednesday, get his perspective on what now is a 2-game skid for the Royals, trying to avoid the sweep tonight. And let's talk some Royals baseball before Vern joins us as well, because out of last night's game, I think the biggest question I have out of that, we've gone over the offensive struggles. We don't need to necessarily revisit it again. I think what we discussed yesterday has not changed in 24 hours. Okay,
but they're still not hitting. That's
hitting.
the still biggest reason why they lost yesterday,
Correct.
even more than the bullpen decision we're getting ready to discuss.
But the bullpen, that was interesting, and maybe some of this is because Hunter Harvey is not available, so it's gotten a little more complicated. But Angel Zerpa, they speak very highly of, very, very highly of. They still love him in high leverage spots, clearly. But it's been a bit since we saw him in a high leverage spot. Now, coming into last night, he had 3 scoreless outings, and so maybe they were thinking that, hey, he had turned the corner a little bit from some of the earlier season struggles, earlier in an early portion of the season, right? It's April the 16th. But I get the complaint and the question of, hey, was Urseg not an option there? Because Michael Wacha gave you a chance to win that game. Michael Wacha pitched well enough to win that game for you last night. And then Angel Zerpa came in and struggled, and obviously 4 runs later, I'm sorry.
The walk was maybe more frustrating than the double. Like, you give up a double, you give up a double. But, like, when the bases are loaded, your only job is to give them something to hit.
Do you think if Hunter Harvey was not hurt that they still would have approached it the same way, and they were like, hey, we know that Urseg, we might need him for the, let's call it the 8th inning, and then Estevez obviously is the closer in the 9th?
I think yes. They love Zerpa. He was coming out of 3 scoreless outings. He'd given up a run in each of his first 2 outings. He had then gone 3 consecutive outings without giving up a run, so they were probably feeling better about Zerpa. Probably thinking, yeah, he's found his rhythm again. And it's not to say that Zerpa's never going to give up a run ever again. My whole thing is, if the game is on the line, like the game, it is bases loaded, 2 outs, 6th inning. There are only 9 more outs to get after this. I am personally, if I'm the manager, numbers be damned. I don't care what the advanced analytics say about somebody hitting a cutter or a slider or this guy's pitch or whatever. If it is 2 out, if it is the game and it is the last 3 innings of the game, 2-3 innings of the game, I think that qualifies the last out of the 6th. I'm throwing Urseg. That's just who I'm throwing 100% of the time, unless he's unavailable. The argument for whether or not Daniel Lynch should be the first lefty out of the pen, I will say, has gotten stronger. He is on, 27, 28 scoreless innings, whatever.
They might get there eventually and very soon. I don't know if they're there in terms of confidence in those spots yet, but he's pitching like they should be here very soon. Confident that he can be in those spots. I think that's the issue. I really believe if Hunter Harvey was not hurt, then maybe could he have been the guy there. We know they view Angel Zerpa as kind of a fireman type of guy, because last year in the playoffs, whenever Juan Soto stepped in the batter's box, that was the guy they called in. It happened throughout that Yankees series, and he was effective at it.
Yeah, he really was, and it worked before. So I'm not down on Zerpa. I still think he can get outs. And
some people are like, should they just left walk in longer?
I would have done either. Know? I would have been more interested. It's just tough because in that spot, I would have gone to Urseg. I wouldn't have left walk in.
This early in the year, I think we've clearly seen they have not been willing to push too much past that 86-90 pitch mark this early in the year. I think they've had a guy pitch over that once or twice already, but that's typically been a spot where they haven't been willing to push it.
Yeah, and I don't know
they
that
obviously probably felt good about the matchup with Sir. I mean, look, I will say this.
Sometimes the plan is wrong, but the execution is bad.
Yeah, the plan is right, but the execution, I'm with you. No, I'm 100% with you. I think that's probably what happened, but that was a fair question. We'll ask Vern about it coming up in a little bit too. But elsewhere, I mean, the offense, look, MJ Melendez, it was all you could hope for is that somehow that home run he hit last night gets him going, and that's it. And I know we're all skeptical about that being the case. But I will say, if you were mad, and some of you were, that Melendez hit a home run last night, I'll be honest, I don't get it. It doesn't excuse how bad he's been. He still has an average below 100. All that is true. He didn't have another hit other than that. All is true. But I didn't get the reaction from some, like they were mad that he hit a home run. Like, oh, darn.
They want him to be bad so that they'll send him down. I'm like, no, I want him to be good so they don't have to.
Their best path still this year in left field, is somehow that he figures it out. We can all wonder if and say that's not going to happen. But that still is their best path in left field. It's very easy to point out random guy's name in Triple A that you haven't seen fail yet and think he's just going to be world's better.
Yeah.
That gets to a bigger conversation that I think we'll probably have in the very near future if the offensive struggles continue, which is where's the hitting development happening in the organization. But I think it's too early I really do, to have that convo, a bigger picture organizationally. Are they struggling to develop hitting?
Yeah, I mean, and look, I do think that conversation's probably coming. Maybe a conversation we can even have tomorrow on it a little bit, but this might be the human element. And maybe that this is like we're too close to it because we've met some of these people. I don't know. But it's not even like the human part. It's like in the interest of the team in which you root for, you should not hope anybody continues to fail to the point that they get cut. You should hope Hunter Renfroe hits 400 for the next 6 weeks. You should hope that MJ Melendez hits 400 for the next 6 weeks. You should be hoping that they figure it out and that the Royals' initial plan is successful because that is still your easiest and clearest path to being good. Because getting up John Rave, you might very well get replacement level play out of him. And if that's the case, that's better than what they're getting out of MJ right now. I've already told you what I would do in that scenario.
Yeah, yesterday you said you would send him down.
Yeah. Replacement level play.
I think most people agree with you.
But he's not down, so I want him to hit.
Yeah.
This isn't about proving my prediction right or anything outside. Like, if he's on the Major League roster, I hope he hits 10 home runs in the next 10 games. I'm not rooting against the guy. I'm not rooting against the player. I'm actively hoping that they sort these things out. My fear is they won't, right?
For sure, and I'm with you. But if you want the team to do well, if you're a Royals fan and you want them to live up to the expectation that you set for them this year, one thing I don't understand is the unhappiness with when they did something correct and did something right and positive. But yeah, I mean, the MJ Melendez home run, all you can hope for is that somehow that gets him to loosen up at the plate and not guess and feel confident. And I don't know if that's going to happen. He could go 0 for 5 tonight, 0 for 4 tonight. He could also go 2 for 4 out of nowhere, and you should also be happy if that occurs. So who knows? We'll see.
You mentioned, I think this is always kind of like the interesting part. Like, you know, when you're looking at this play, like you mentioned the other day how it's easier sometimes, like when Bobby Wood Jr. just gets 2 hits and they lose. Last night, the Zerpa decision, in a lot of ways, it's easier to swallow in a weird way because it's like, that's not why they're losing. Like, Zerpa giving up a couple of runs is not why they're losing. Walking a guy, that's not why they're losing. They are losing for one very obvious reason. They can't hit right.
Horrific offense.
Yeah, there's no mystery. There's not like something for us to diagnose and like, what is the misstep? What is, like, they can't hit. Like, that's what it boils down to right now. They are second to last, I still assume. I don't know that it probably changed. They are second to last in Major League Baseball in runs per game right now. They have the 4th best team ERA between starting rotation and bullpen right now, and the 2nd worst offense. The frustrating part is that had they been a league average offense, what would their record be?
You want to talk about it? They'd probably be 3-4 games above 500.
Yeah, they'd probably be 13, 14 wins.
But obviously that's not who they are right now.
No, I'm just that part is frustrating. We're like, not if they had a world beater offense. If they were the 16th best offense, they are probably in first place in the American League Central or a half game back of the Tigers for the best record in the American League. So you're like, it's frustrating there, and you don't want to lose this thing. They had months this bad last year. So like, I don't care if they happen in April or July, just as long as it's not a month that buries you. 8-10's not buried you yet. Don't keep losing. Don't lose to the
5
Yankees
games
tonight
left on
and
the
then
road trip.
lose 3 out of 4 to Detroit, whatever.
They got 5 left on the road trip, and they're what, 1-4 on the road trip right now. We've talked about what did you expect out of the road trip, and 500 road trip or 4-6 road trip or whatever is at the bare minimum that you were hoping to get out of it. Well, that requires that they got to take one of these from the Yankees. Otherwise, you're putting yourself in a spot to probably ask for too much in the Tigers series, which is going to be a huge series. Considering what the Detroit Tigers are looking like right now to start in the American League Central, where I don't think anybody's running away with the Central. That's the good news. Nobody's going to do that this year. I'd be stunned. But the Tigers right now are the team that currently occupies that top spot.
Yeah, they got the top spot in the American League, so, and they're off to a good start. I imagine at some point they'll go through a stretch where they don't look like a good baseball team because it's 162 games. I want to get back to something we talked about earlier because Jay Binkley's going to join us at 1 o'clock. Break down some draft.
He's already here, man. He's ready to go. He's already Drew's already warming him up over there because Drew's been talking nonstop to Bing. They're already talking draft over there.
Hope he grinding some Kansas guard tape. Plus, somebody on the text line keeps asking about one player, and I got
Luke Grimm.
Okay, Luke Grimm. So be prepared to talk about Kansas guard play and Luke Grimm. Those are the 2 people in particular, Pink.
Drew and Baker having their own separate show. We should just turn the video stream on. And
we'll just take the afternoon off?
Yeah,
Great.
we'll be good. We'll be good.
Sounds good. You and I can get out to lunch or something.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the running backs and our official. This will now be my 3rd draft crush, your 2nd. The guys at running back that we want. I'll start off by saying Quinshon Judkins is my number 1. You'll give me any back at the pick, I believe they will be picking or available to pick running back. Let's take Ashton Genty off of this list. You could say Hampton. He could be available at the end of that first round. Judkins is the guy, and it's for pretty simple reasons. If there is a guy in this draft that is going to turn into the, not Derrick Henry, because he's even bigger than every other human being on the planet, but Saquon Barkley, big, strong, fast, does everything, it's Judkins, in my opinion. He was the number 1 rated relative athletic score player at running back in the draft. He can catch, he can block, he can do a little bit of everything. A little bit unproven, shared a backfield with Travion Henderson. Sometimes it's hard to know which is the two of the better backs sometimes when you get in that spot. And we know Kansas City historically
they just don't draft Ohio
does
State.
not take Ohio State players.
Probably a bit
but
overblown.
I don't have to say that I don't take Ohio State players. So Quinshon Judkins. For the late round ones, I want to mention one before you guys get to the other two. There are two that had stood out to me. Martinez, and I would say, and then probably more stronger than R.J. Harvey. The text line talked me into him. I looked into R.J. Harvey last night. If we're talking third, fourth round guy, that's probably the next on my list, Gold, of guys that I want. Because
he's a home run hitter.
I'll take the upside of just he can do that. I think he's got a lot of weaknesses, if we're being honest, in which his game is not perfect. But if you just want to talk about a guy who could take 8 carries a game and somehow one of them ended up being for 40, I think it might be him. So R.J. Harvey would be my secondary list of running back name.
Yes, I'll stick with a name that I think will be there in the third round if they want him. I guess there's a chance he's a second round guy, but I feel more confident that he's a third round guy. That's Dylan Sampson, the running back out of Tennessee. Yeah, he's a smaller guy. If you're wanting a bigger back, that's not him. I don't think that's what they need. To me, Isaiah Pacheco can still be that for this team. Sampson's 5'8", 200, but the one thing you see consistently from draft experts that are out there, and we'll talk to Bink about him too and get his perspective, but excellent burst and speed to hit the chunk play. And that, to me, is exactly what we've talked about with needing an explosive back to complement Isaiah Pacheco. He's not a 3-down back. Most guys aren't. In college, he was actually decent in short yardage. That's not what they're going to probably ask him to be in the NFL, given his size and everything. The question mark on him and why he's a third rounder and not a first rounder is maybe not the best hands and pass protection, question mark. From an explosive, just a different change of pace type of running back, it's him. Now, Lance Zierlein comped him to Brian Westbrook, which was a comp that people gave Clyde Edwards-Helaire in Kansas City as well, or the Chiefs did to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But Dylan Sampson, if he's there in the third round, that'd be a guy I'd be very happy about.
Drew, who was your guy? Or you got a secondary guy? Your initial guy was Travion Henderson, the other Ohio State running back.
Correct. Yeah, the initial guy was him. I still think for whatever reason, he didn't have a good season really at all, and neither did the team. But I like Ollie Gordon, just in terms of just what he could do.
I tried to talk myself. I went through 20 different running backs. I tried to talk myself into him. It didn't click.
He was the consensus number 1 running back in the country going into last season, and then he just didn't have a good year again. Oklahoma State stunk. They were not good at all. But I think that plays some part into it. But I think that you can get a good value for Ollie Gordon if we're talking 4th round, maybe 5th round if he happens to slide that far. I do. Bink said Sampson is his guy.
Samson's his guy too?
Yes.
You know what? Between you and I, Gold, I think we're kind of lining up with Bink all of a sudden because he was a Derek Harmon guy too. We'll get Bink in here at 1 o'clock.
You have to break down the Bryce Cable dude's tape with Bink here.
I got my notes, Bink, on every Kansas player. I'll make sure to go over that with you.
A plus body. I mean, just wow. That's how Lance Zierlein. That's how you put it.
That wasn't Cable Do.
That wasn't Cable
somebody
Do.
else.
That was Alfred Collins.
That was the 6'6" defensive lineman.
A plus body type, right?
Mm-hmm. And his mother played college basketball at Texas.
Mom played college basketball.
Put some respect.
I guess Zierlein's trying to do that to make himself stand out is slightly different. I don't have any other way to put it.
That's right.
We'll continue to remind you, by the way, there were a couple of other people asking, hey, where do I get the T-shirt link if I'm attending?
The road trip?
The road trip, just let us know. 913-586-7965. If you are attending the road trip and want the Caglione T-shirt, the one that says Cags, you can find the pictures of it on our social media channels or at 965thefan.com. We will send you the link via the text line, 913-586-7965. I don't know how many people we're up to. I'm counting on you to keep track of our people.
Yeah, still around 70 listeners have signed up for the road trip. Up next, we're going to talk some Royals baseball with Josh Vernier, our Royals insider. We'll get his perspective on what occurred last night and what could change with this offense moving forward.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Honey, our new James Hardy siding from Powell Exteriors KC looks so good. Our house went from worst to first. The neighbor waved at me today with her whole hand. I'm ready for phase 2 of our home transformation. Let's call Powell about that new deck. They're offering financing at 0% for 18 months on everything. You should call today at 816-656-1160 or take another look at their stunning work on powellkc.com, Facebook, and Instagram.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California and via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
You could think you found your dream home online. The kitchen island looks perfect for your inner chef. The backyard, a paradise for your green thumb. And that extra room, hello walk-in closet. But here's the twist. The lot next door just got rezoned for years of construction. And this sound, yeah, you're going to be hearing a lot of that. Don't let your dream home turn into a nightmare. Work with the expertise and ethical training of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
New Harley-Davidson starting at $99 a month at Rawhide Harley. Over 600 Harleys in stock. Only $99 a month for a brand new Harley-Davidson at Rawhide Harley. Visit rawhideharley.com.
Payments based on Nightster models and base color with 30% down, 84-month term, 6.99% APR with approved credit. Doesn't include freight, setup, tax, title, and license fees. See dealer for details.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
A great lawn is like a great sports team. It takes expertise and a little extra care to really stand out. That's where True Green comes in. They're the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour, so they know a thing or two about keeping grass looking like a fairway. Here's the best part. It's more affordable than you think, and they'll even match any competitor's price. Plus, True Green backs it all up with a satisfaction guarantee. Not happy? They'll come back between visits to make it right. Don't wait. Head to truegreen.com today. Let the pros do the work while you sit back and enjoy the results.
Thank you for making Total Wine & More America's #1 online source for spirits, beer, and wine. Better than all those delivery apps. Total Wine's prices are up to 30% lower with super fast delivery and no hidden fees. Order direct at TotalWine.com and pay less today.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Lowe's knows how to help pros save. That's why the new MyLowe's Pro Rewards program lets you unlock exclusive member deals on the things you need every day on the job. Plus, Milo's Pro Rewards members can get volume discounts on eligible orders through a quote of $2,000 or more. Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Exclusions, more terms and restrictions apply. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Your life, your goals, your legacy. With a dedicated Fidelity advisor, it's all part of a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Visit fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
Clog drain? Our experts clear tough clogs fast and include a free camera inspection, so you have confidence that your pipes are flowing freely. Unclog your drain for just $74. Schedule today at anthonyphce.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Random question of the day coming up in about 12 minutes or so. Also a half hour away from Jay Binkley joining us in studio, our draft insider. Christian Osero and Bink will have their draft show live from the Landing in Liberty coming up a week from this Thursday night. And as I said, Bink's already in the building doing some prep. You know that they have before someone goes on like a late night TV show, comedy show, or whatever, they have the green room, but sometimes they prep the interviewee or whatever. Yeah. I feel like that's what Drew's been doing for the last 45 minutes. They're already having
up all the questions.
He's getting already taken care of. He's warming Bink up, loosening him up, so he's ready to go when he joins us here in a half hour. In the meantime, though, I do want to get right back in to the Royals and have our Royals insider Josh Vernier join us. He joins us each and every Wednesday. Of course, his On Deck show coming up at 5 o'clock again as the Royals are still in the Bronx, wrapping up a series against the Yankees. Before we get to that, Vern, have you been to many minor league baseball parks? You know we got the CAGs Cody and Gold road trip coming up in Springfield at Hammons Field, and everybody keeps saying it's like a great ballpark, I guess, down there.
Really? No. I've only been to one minor league ballpark that was in Lansing, Michigan. So, no, right. I don't have much experience.
Okay, I didn't know whether or not I've been to.
But I think it's awesome what you guys are doing, man. I think that's going to be a great time. Those shirts are sweet too.
You want us to get you one? You don't have to go to Springfield. We say that for everyone else, but for you, we'll get you one.
Well, then, yeah. Who turns down a free shirt?
Yeah. We'll put you on the list. When it comes to let's take Cags out because we've asked enough questions about him at least for the time being. At the major league level, what do you think the time frame is on Renfroe and MJ to sort it, let's say? Because last night I thought it was, you could see the weight from MJ for a minute when he hit that home run and the engagement on the batting coach and everything else, or the hitting coach. What do you think they're going to look at for MJ Melendez over the next couple of weeks to kind of sense if he is starting to figure it out?
Well, there's a decision coming up this weekend, right? Mark Canha could return from the IL as soon as, I believe, Saturday or Sunday. Maybe they wait until the team comes back on Monday. But is it just as easy as Drew Waters heads back to Omaha? Waters is 2 for 11 with 2 errors. Or, listen, if MJ's confidence is really shaken, I'm not saying it is. I don't have any reason to believe that his confidence is shaken. Nothing that I've seen or heard from him leads me to believe that confidence is shook. But if it is, maybe that's an avenue for MJ to find some confidence down in Omaha. I don't think that's the right move, not only because he hit that home run last night, but because, we can dive into the metrics if you want. He's one of the best defensive corner outfielders in all of baseball so far this season. I mentioned Drew Waters, who would be his replacement. He's already booted a couple of balls out there. The totality of MJ's game right now is still better than any other option that I see as a realistic option. Cags isn't realistic. I don't believe John Rave is realistic just yet because you're not going to – I don't think you're going to get rid of Kevin Biggio already. I don't think you're going to get rid of Hunter Renfroe already. So as far as when they cut the cord on a Hunter Renfroe, we're at the 16th of May. Coming off his best defensive effort that we've seen all season,
that was a good game for him last night, yeah.
That's what made last night so painful. I mentioned it on the postgame show. MJ hits the home run. You take a 2-0 lead. Waka's rolling. Renfroe's making plays. Man, it was like a dream-like state there. And then Personally, I sobered up in the fourth after that leadoff double to Salvi. They do not cash it in, and I'm thinking, okay, wait, hang on a second. That offense still has 18 outs. You're in Yankee Stadium. There's no way a 2-0 lead is going to hold up. It was so good early on. But to get back to the point, if Hunter Renfroe can play quality defense, can give you good at-bats, I think he'll get throughout the month of May. But what we've seen over the first 18 games, save his defensive performance yesterday, has been a guy that, Cody, I know you've mentioned it, he might just be done. And if that's the case, he has less than a month in my mind. Middle of May, he could be on his way out of Kansas City. MJ, until another realistic option presents itself, I think he's getting all of April, and I think he'll get all of May, so long as his mentals aren't messed up.
What about the offense as a whole? Because I know these are the two names that everybody is talking about, and understandably so. Some of it goes back to last year, and I get that. But other than Bobby, really nobody is hitting all that well in the first, what are we at now, 18, 20 games or so of the season. So is this it's early? Is this that they didn't do enough in the offseason? Is this that there's some hitting development problems? What do you think it is?
I think there's all of that, right? They could have done more this offseason. Now, thankfully, as we talked about, they didn't ink Profar.
Right.
I would not have wanted to go 3 years with Anthony Santander, so I don't know where that bat was in free agency, but sure, they could have found him, and now the onus is going to be on the front office to find the hitting equivalent of Lucas Erceg and Hunter Harvey and Cole Reagans. Find that overlooked gem in some other organization. But the offense as a whole, you're right. Bobby is still Bobby. His supporting cast is limiting how much Bobby he can be, because why would you pitch to Bobby when nobody else can hit? But still, even when the opposition doesn't make a mistake, Bob can still do damage. We saw that with the knock yesterday, the home run the other day, that 10-pitch at bat. That was a fine slider down and away. Bobby just took his hands and his face down to the ball to lift that thing over the wall. Michael's hitting the ball hard. Salvi's underlying metrics tell you he's going to break out soon. But yeah, you know what? The amount of at-bats that Kevin Biggio is receiving is disappointing. Not if you're him. He's earned it, certainly. But I remember when they brought him in this offseason, I was thinking, well, I hope I don't see him. For as much as I want all these guys to succeed, Kevin Biggio was not a name I'm expecting to be a key cog in a division championship ball club. We talked about Renfroe, we talked about Melendez, but what this comes back to, guys, are the big names. There are 173 qualified hitters so far this season in Major League Baseball. Michael Massey has the 5th lowest OPS of those 173 everyday players, the 2nd lowest OPS in the American League. Salvi and India are the bottom 25% of the American League when it comes to OPS. Vinny's well below league average. If Vinny, Salvi, Massey, India are all well below average, well, then cancel Christmas. This team's going nowhere. I believe Salvi's better than his numbers. I believe Vinny and India are better than their numbers. Once those guys start hitting, then I think we can truly diagnose what ails this team, if it is anything. Because when you have your big dogs eaten, I think it opens up more for Mean and MJ, for Izzy and Michael. So to me, it all begins with the big names in the middle. Nothing can move forward until they get going.
Vern, you've covered a lot of teams, so I know in football this becomes a little more divisive. But, how long before it gets frustrating inside of a clubhouse where right now the team's got the 4th best team ERA in all of baseball and score the 2nd fewest runs per game? At what point does it become the division of, hey, we're doing our half of the work here, where's the other half?
I think if there were more new faces in that rotation, on that pitching staff, inside that clubhouse, outside of Kevin Biggio and Jonathan India, everybody that's in that clubhouse right now was rooting for the Royals last October against the New York Yankees. Either they were on the team, or they were on the 40 men but didn't make the postseason roster, or they were in the organization. That squad last year, and the reason why I call it the sophomore album is because it's basically the same band, right? It's the same group. Michael Wacha, Seth Lugo, Cole Reagans, Chris Bubich. These guys aren't turning on MJ and Bobby and Vinny and Salvi. That's a pretty cohesive group that came together more than a year ago. I don't see any friction. Money, are you messing with anyone's money? Waka's taken care of. Reagans is taken care of. Lorenzen you could flip if you need to if things go south. Seth Lugo has a decision at the end of the offseason whether or not to accept that $15 million to come back to Kansas City. But no, I just don't see how a fracture would happen in that very tight-knit clubhouse that's currently being occupied by your boys in blue.
I mean, I'm assuming the Royals view it the way we do, at least on this show. I can't speak for every show, but it's just like, Vern, you do a lot of post games, and I'm sure there's plenty of panic. I kind of refuse after 18 games. Baseball is long, long, long. And like you said with Vinny and those, it's like 18 games. I'd be surprised if this team was like freaking out, I guess.
Yeah. Listen, I don't sense any panic. Now, there are hitters pressing. It does appear that some guys are in their own heads. Vinny's acknowledged on national TV yesterday, I might be trying to do too much. I might be swinging a little bit too hard. But hitting a baseball, we always have said it's the toughest thing to do in sports. Hitting is the most difficult of the 5 facets of the game of baseball. So listen, again, if I had my choice, 18 games in, you could choose any aspect of the game to be the best in, I would say starting pitching, and right now the Royals are the best when it comes to American League teams and starting pitching. The thing that concerns me is where else can they impose their will on the opposition, because the defense has been mediocre at best. Base running, same. Bullpen without Hunter Harvey, I'm sorry, is mediocre at best. And then the offense, we know that's at the bottom. So the rotation's good, but I'm hoping that they're not last year's Seattle Mariners, where it's a great rotation and just no one supporting them.
I asked you, for the MJ stuff, how long into the season before Daniel Lynch should be the first lefty out of the pen?
Yeah, as far as a leverage situation with
leverage.
the team in front,
Instead of Zerpa last night, right? How long till you go Lynch first?
Well, boy, it's tough to make the case for Zerpa. He's been given the opportunity every single time. There's been no hiccup in the coaching from Matt Quatrero and this pitching staff right now. When they have a lead and there's a lefty due up, whether he comes in or not, you're seeing Angel Zerpa warm up. He is still their top choice. I can't sit here and say he deserves another opportunity over Daniel Lynch. Next time out, whether that's tonight or in Detroit starting on Thursday, give it to Lynch, although what they're saying speaks loudly to me when they don't go to him. That tells me they're not sure that the big punch-out ability is there in the big spot from Daniel Lynch. They've seen it before. We've all seen it from Zerpa. And the coaching staff's hesitancy to give him the ball tells me that there's still some trepidation of whether or not he can be on the attack in the biggest moments, in the biggest spots.
Lastly, Vern, last week you spoke how big this road trip was. 10 games. We know they're off to a 1-4 start during it. They got to try to prevent the sweep tonight in the Bronx against the Yankees. What did you expect out of the road trip? We were talking on the show before it began, 5-5 would be a pretty darn good road trip.
Yeah.
Now that they're 1-4, where are you at?
Yeah, I think we all would have. I've heard you guys say it. You would have accepted 4 and 6.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, getting swept stings, but we all understand that the Detroit series is even bigger than this Yankees series. Even if you drop tonight's game, you can still save face with a series victory in Detroit. I'm not really going to budge just yet. I still want 4 wins. However you go about achieving 4 wins, get it. Bubich, and then you have Lorenzen, and then your big 3. Yeah, man, I'm just reluctant to buy in that this is who the offense is. Max Fried is a stud. This team is obviously it's the big leagues. You're going to face really good pitching. Clark Schmidt coming off the IL. Yeah, no, I'm not taking anything less than 4 wins. Anything less than 4 wins, and it's a disappointing road trip. And Thankfully, you have Colorado waiting for you when you get back home. The only offense in the sport worse than the Royals. So,
Three straight
regardless,
1-0 games,
a lot of season left. We can get over it, but we will be down on Sunday if they end up 3-7 on this sizable road trip.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the season is over if they have a terrible road trip the rest of the. I thought the season was over.
No, they can turn it around in a week.
They still can. Okay.
Yeah.
Phew.
Yeah, things change quickly.
Okay. Goodness. Thank you. Thanks, Vern.
Thank you.
That's Josh Vernier, Royals insider. He's got his on deck show tonight at 5:00.
It's too bad we can't just have him take a day off work and come down and see Cags with us, you know?
Yeah, it is on a Saturday night. He'll be a little busy.
Maybe Binkley could do. Binkley did some Royals pregame. Binkley's handled some Royals pregame duties before.
Maybe Bink wants to be in Springfield.
Oh, maybe he wants to come. Okay.
I know he likes a brewery down there. At least I'm told.
Mother's.
We actually just spent about maybe 5-10 minutes talking about
when Bink comes in here. When Bink comes in here, I want to find out what you guys have been talking about nonstop for the last 45 minutes. Just
college football, NASCAR, Springfield,
everything. I hear Bink talking now.
Bink's trying to get me to say we talked about Blue Chew. We did not talk about any Blue Chew.
Just chew it and do it.
We did not.
Right. That's right. All right, let's get to the random question of the day.
Random question.
For you, Gold. For you, Drew. Or on the text line, 913-586-7965. Of course, the random question today is brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Results every week and then receive free support for life online at awaken180weightloss.com. Show's been real heavy in the hypotheticals today. So instead, we're going to get deep. We're going to get personal on this show. Not hypothetical.
Great.
I want an actual answer.
Right.
He did not sound like he meant it. He did not sound like he meant it.
All right.
Based on today, the Time 100 came out, which is the most influential people.
Yeah.
It included quarterback Jalen Hurts being one of the most influential athletes. So that list came out today. And so the question I have for you today is very simple.
I know where this is
No,
going.
hold on. No, this is a real question.
Okay, go ahead.
And it's you're saying this like it's not going to be bad.
I already know where you're heading.
I was very simply just going to ask you who is the most
I knew
influential
it.
person
See,
in
I
your
knew
life,
it.
you know?
I hate this.
Why?
You
You don't have influential people in your life?
I just hate this.
what do you
This is
hate
like, I
this?
don't.
We can't get personal. People like to know us.
I just hate
Bink
this.
said your dog is very influential.
In what
Of
way?
course, it's not a person, but
You don't like getting personal, huh? You don't
I
want to
just
say
don't.
your dad.
I just don't. We don't need a grandstand. I'm good.
Grandstand?
I'm good.
It's a
hold on.
question.
It is a simple question. I think it has an easy. The first person that comes to mind, I think, is the person who.
Yeah, usually fathers, mothers, daughter, whatever, like parents, siblings, those kind of things probably come up first. What about in the radio end? Who was the person in the radio end that influenced you most? Will you give me
Cody's
that?
gonna love this answer.
Will you give me that?
It's Cody's favorite person at the station.
Wait, for real? Who is it? Jay Binkley?
I mean, I like Bink, and is he your favorite person? No, it'd be Fesco, actually. I mean, I interned with Fesco and Kling in college, and got a lot of advice from Fesco over the years. So, yeah, that'd be in the radio business, I would say for sure Fesco is one of the first people that come to mind.
Okay, that's a very reasonable answer.
Yeah.
On the radio end, gosh, I started here too, just like you. But I did a lot of like the college. Oh boy. Like radio's a little bit tougher. The people who probably influence the way I do radio the most are Ryan Witkowski and Nick Schwartz, are probably the two people who like changed my perception, like as far as like outside of you and I who host a show together, changed kind of like, shaped the way I do radio the most. In the early stages, the people I relied on the most here were Danny Parkins. Probably in the early going, but like I didn't intern here. I was just like a part-time employee, so it's a little bit different. I didn't have like a full, you worked with Bob every day. Slightly different. I was working like nights with, I don't know who was running. Ryan was probably running the board for me, or I was running the board for him.
Yeah.
I mean, it was probably a little bit of both. We were in the, I'm trying to think about who else did nights during that. It was like me, Ryan, and Matt Maish.
Oh, yeah, I remember Matt. Yeah.
Haven't seen him. Don't know. What's he up to? Anybody seen Matt? I don't know what he's up to.
He lives in town still, I think.
Oh, does he? Okay.
I don't know.
Hope you're doing well, Matt. Haven't seen you in a while. Drew, who's the person who inspires you?
The individual, like non-radio person.
Let's do non-radio person and then radio person.
Okay,
Drew
so-
once described somebody as a mentor. I've never said I had a mentor. What's that like?
This actually isn't the person who I was going to say, but more of like an industry person who helped me kind of figure out the direction that I needed to go in my career. Because in college and stuff, there wasn't really anybody that we had as a person who was willing to help, also to look to answer questions and stuff. So shout out to Armin down there, a former Odyssey employee.
Have you ever described anybody as your mentor? I don't even know how to get those. Do you have to like sign up?
I mean, if someone's influential in your field, you could
I think you have to agree to mentor mentee. I don't think you can. I don't think that's
really?
vague. I think you got to agree to those terms.
Oh, see, I don't think it has to be a declared title.
Okay, you think it's just more of a loose association?
I more or less refer to him as that because he's been like the one individual who has been there. If I have questions,
from the beginning
advice,
of your radio journey.
Who was number one on the Times list? Do we know yet, or will they just unveil some of them? Who was number one? Because you mentioned Jalen Hurts is on. I think they were just teasing it, right? It's not fully out yet.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I do.
Mahomes has been on this multiple times.
Let's see. First look.
They're teasing.
So they didn't give us everyone. Serena Williams, Ed Sheeran, Snoop Dogg were some of the people on the list.
Okay. Those are smokeless grill
Scarlett
commercials,
Johansson, Jalen Hurts, a couple of others. Simone Biles.
Okay.
It's probably, quite a few, probably.
Yeah.
Who was the radio person that you when you were a kid you liked the most? Were you like a Rome guy? Everyone had like a national. I listened to Cowherd and Kornheiser a ton.
Yeah.
Like his
So
radio show.
I listened to a lot of Tony Bruno back when it was Sporting News Radio.
Tony Bruno.
Yeah, when I was a kid.
Tony Bruno.
Yeah.
Man, wow.
Yeah, Sporting News Radio back in the day. I think I've told this story. I remember this was in the late 90s when Sammy Sosa was still relevant. And I called into a show. They were playing a game called Sammy or No Sammy. And it was like a trivia game, but I called in.
Sammy Sosa?
Yeah, about Sammy Sosa.
Okay.
It was like something about him. You had like Sammy or No Sammy. And it was funny. He got on callers. He got so irritated because people kept saying, yes, Sammy. He's like, just Sammy. And like, he didn't want you to say. It was, I don't know why.
What a weird thing to get hung up on. Damn, Bruno.
Yeah, I only made it 4 questions in and I got eliminated.
What? How many did you need
I
to
was
win?
like 11 years old, or I would have been 10 years old.
10 years old.
9 or 10 years
Trying to compete on the Tony Bruno show.
But actual person's my grandma, 100%. On
Your
my mom's
grandma?
side. Yep.
Yeah, that was not the answer I was expecting.
What did you think he was going to say?
I don't know. Dad, like normal,
again,
classic.
Classic. They're very
I'm
much.
not saying he had no influence.
No.
It's not one or nothing.
My parents are very much influential, obviously, and maybe more influential than I give them credit for. But my grandma for sure.
Nobody ever wants to admit. Like with your parents, it's always like
it's just.
I think that's part. Well,
it's
they obviously had an influence on you, good or bad.
It's kind of a given.
100%.
Yeah,
Well,
I feel like it's a given.
So I took a my fall break in like some year in college. I went on vacation to visit my grandparents. Like I could have done literally anything else just to give you this is how much they mean to me. I went and I visited them by myself. Nobody else from my family went with me. I literally went by myself to go visit them.
I will say, my grandparents definitely still have an influence, had an influence on me because we spent time in the summers there too, and we go to Colorado or whatever and spend time with them in Breckenridge. It's probably still why I like looking at antique stores. They used to run an antique shop, take us to flea markets, and make us haggle with random people in the flea market when I was 8 years old. Maybe that's why I don't like negotiating now.
No, you said you don't. Yeah, you said you don't.
It's the worst. There's no enjoyment in it. We have to just be jerks to each other. Nobody ever does it with any kind of casual niceness about it. Everyone is trying to get an edge on each other. It's just exhausting.
From the 816, Jalen Hurts made me get heavily under the influence after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Very influential. Well, part
Who
of
do
the
you think is
reason.
going to be number one, by the way, on the Times?
So
who do you think it'll
Cody,
be?
you gave us people who are just on it. You don't know if they're actually.
No, Jalen Hurts, I think
there,
was
correct?
I think maybe they were teasing that he was going to be high on the athlete part of the list, but no, he was not the
Do they do an actual ranking, or is it just you're one of the 100? They don't actually you're the number one
That's what
most
it sounds
influential.
like.
I feel like it's maybe it is just 100.
It sounds like they just list off 100 people.
They don't actually say you were the most influential person.
Number
in
one.
Yeah. Well, because Jalen Hurts has his rep
They
team.
do it by categories. It looks like from last year.
Athletes, movie stars,
Innovators, thinkers,
politicians.
Yeah, they separate it.
Well, I mean, obviously Jalen Hurts is very good on the field for what he does, but off the field, his management team is all women, which obviously is a really big thing.
His agent is one of the
has been the entire time he's been in the.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
she also reps Myles Garrett.
Ever since he was drafted, yeah.
I believe she reps Myles Garrett, if I'm not mistaken.
So
LeBron's probably number one. Again, I don't think there's a number one. He's probably on the list again.
Probably
He's
is.
been on the list multiple times, I believe.
If we did rank it
you
out,
just
though,
keep
LeBron's
Jordan on it
probably
forever.
there. If we ranked it out, LeBron's probably in the top 5.
If it's right now, LeBron's still.
Mahomes was on it.
In any person, any.
I would argue
career
Michael
choice?
Jordan is still number one. Tiger.
I don't know. I don't think you're grandfather. Otherwise, there's only 100 spots. I mean,
It's
you
all
can't.
the,
There's so
I'm
many.
just saying, if you just said, if you just made everyone vote, he'd still be think about the clothing end of it and all this stuff. It's just
Yeah, and MJ would still be on there, I would say, for sure. LeBron, obviously.
Yeah, there's a couple of athletes that stand out.
LeBron's so good, he's, telling other teams what to do.
This is going to tell something about you, because I know Alex's answer to this is Tony Gonzalez.
Oh.
Who was your, childhood idol football player?
Who
was your favorite player when you were 10 years old?
For me, it was Tony Gonzalez.
I want to know. I want to know Drew Nixon's favorite player when he was 10 years old. That's a specific age in which I feel like your influence is a little bit different.
I'm trying to remember. So that was 2005-ish. Oh, favorite athlete probably
Achilles Smith. Yeah.
No, that's when Carson Palmer was still screwing up the franchise.
God, that'd be funny.
Probably Ocho Cinco. Was probably, in terms of the guy who I really liked, I would say for sure. But that's football. It's football only. So yeah, I would say Ocho
Cinco. You give me baseball. Was there a baseball player? You just seem really hung up.
No,
there's somebody you want to answer.
In 2005, I was the biggest. You would have in 2005. You could have projected that I was one of those people that wears a LeBron jersey no matter where he goes. I'm one of those LeBron people. I loved LeBron James. When I played basketball, I wore the headband. I had to make sure that I had
a photo of Drew.
I had the old Cavs jersey on. Oh yeah,
basketball.
I was ready to go.
Chalk.
Yeah. Did you do that too? Did you mimic that?
No, I did not mimic. I did not mimic the chalk when I was playing under 10 basketball, under 12 basketball. No.
There you go. That is the random question of the day. Up next, we talk a lot of draft with Jay Binkley, our draft insider. Get his perspective 8 days away from the draft party at the Landing. Coming up next year on Cody Gold.
This is Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Tune in to hear Royals insider Josh Vernier every Wednesday at 12:30.
We need to nip this in the bud. We need to
nip what in the bud?
On your home for Royals baseball, 96.5, The Fan.
Great news, everyone. Underdog just became one of the best places to make entries during the basketball playoffs. We know the play-in tournament started last night. How about you learn about more with the Extender the Extender promo. With the Extender, you can play your way to increasingly bigger boosts each round of the playoffs. So start a playoff series, use your game one boost, continue boosting each subsequent game to unlock the next one. The longer the series, the bigger the boost. Underdog is one of the leading places to make all your sports selections. You can play now from your state, side of Missouri, make those selections, and you can just join the millions of fans who have already won billions making plays at Underdog. So find out more with that Extender program, how you can keep getting bigger and bigger boosts with each subsequent game. Download the Underdog app and sign up with promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to unlock a special offer for up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That's promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/extend.html for details. Concern with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Chuck McDowell here. If you were misled or lied to in any way when buying a timeshare, right now is your wake-up call. With the tariffs, economy tanking, and inflation rising, you might need to ask yourself this question. Is owning a timeshare a good idea? With all the economic uncertainty, you need to protect yourself and your family. Don't look back and say, if I'd have only got rid of that stupid timeshare they lied to me about. It's time to stop thinking about canceling your timeshare and finally get rid of it and be smart with your money. At Wesley Financial Group, we've saved 48,000 families an average of $65,000 in lifetime payments. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare permanently or you'll pay nothing.
Call Wesley for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-282-7766. 800-282-7766. 800-282-7766.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Enter now at overheaddoorkc.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorkc.com.
If you've been tired of being out in the bad weather or you're just looking for a more stable industry, our friends over at Centric can offer that to you.
What's great is they allow you to work through your schedule. You still need to have the income coming in from your current job while looking ahead to your new career. They have in-person classes, virtual classes. They can get you trained when it's best for you.
Make it easy. Call our buddy Russ Mondry. He's been with Centric for over 16 years and will guide you through every step of the process. If you're looking for that new career, wait no longer. Go to Centric.com.
Whether you're digging a pond, clearing brush, grading property, or doing demo, Foley Equipment, your local Caterpillar dealer, is your one-stop shop. Buy or rent, Foley Equipment has the machines you need to get the job done. And right now, Foley has 0% financing on new cat skid steers, mini excavators, and compact track loaders. Stop by any Foley Equipment location today or visit us at FoleyEQ.com. That's FoleyEQ.com.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover's accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Listen up, Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. So let's do it again and get vaccinated. We're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults under 50. Gen X, this is our shot. Visit vaxassist.com to schedule. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Thank you for making Total Wine & More America's #1 online source for spirits, beer, and wine. Better than all those delivery apps. Total Wine's prices are up to 30% lower with super fast delivery and no hidden fees. Order direct at TotalWine.com and pay less today.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Lowe's knows how to help pros save. That's why the new MyLowe's Pro Rewards program lets you unlock exclusive member deals on the things you need every day on the job. Plus, MyLowe's Pro Rewards members can get volume discounts on eligible orders through a quote of $2,000 or more. Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Exclusions, more terms and restrictions apply. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Your life, your goals, your legacy. With a dedicated Fidelity advisor, it's all part of a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Visit fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE, SIPC.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Have you tried hands-free Skechers slip-ins yet? Because if you haven't, you're missing out on technology that changes how you think about shoes. First, these are not just regular slip-on shoes. They're not just a pair of loafers without laces. But what makes them different is the technology inside that lets you just step into them. There's a built-in hidden shoehorn that slides your foot in, so they look, feel, and wear just like a pair of shoes you're used to. Except you don't have to bend down, struggle to put them on, or touch them. Try them at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Join us for the Fans Draft Party on Thursday, April 24th from the Landing in Liberty. We'll be broadcasting live. Plus, your chance to win $965 and an autographed Chiefs helmet in our draft contest. KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
One o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Jay Binkley in studio, our drafts insider. He has his draft special with Christian Osero coming up next Thursday night at the Landing. We're all going to be there. Your chance to win $965 plus an autographed Chiefs helmet. It is going to be a ton of fun. Always a packed house. We were giving Drew a hard time. He was talking to you for the last hour. I understand you guys went through. He prepped you on everything we want to talk about. Let's start with NASCAR.
Yep.
No, I'm just kidding.
No NASCAR, Blue Chew, beer, Chiefs, Bengals.
I heard you guys had an
Specifically,
in-depth NASCAR conversation. too.
We did.
Binkley, when we were looking for spots to meet up for the Cody Gold road trip down there in Springfield,
Great place.
I suggested Mothers, but we
Thank
were
you.
worried. But we were worried that maybe kids wouldn't be allowed. So we
needed a family-friendly place, so we're meeting somewhere else.
You can bring kids and dogs and whatever. They just can't drink the beer, but
Yeah,
they
they
can
have
go, they
multiple locations now. I think there's some Mothers brewing up in Idaho now.
Yeah,
too.
but Mother's Brewing, that's like that is the gold standard. No
There
pun
you go,
intended.
Bink.
I love Mother's Brewing. Matter of fact, I took my mother one time. I got a selfie
Took
with
your
my
mother to Mother?
I always wanted to do it. Get a selfie with my mother at Mother's.
Always wanted to, huh?
But it's my favorite beer.
Lifelong
Mother's Winter
dream.
Grind. But Springfield's like a beer town, man. They like 6
we're
or 7
excited.
downtown.
We're excited.
It's awesome.
Yeah, we enjoyed Arkansas. Don't get me wrong. We had a great time down there.
It's
But
a good
this is
beer area,
something
too.
different. And we're going to meet at a bar down there that's supposed to have
Shocker.
in Springfield. It's supposed to have really good chicken wings down there in Springfield as
There's
well.
good chicken wings everywhere.
And we're not going to be there. The game won't end in time for us to go to Lambert's because we wanted to go with Drew to Lambert's. He's been to Lambert's before.
Throat roll?
but Get some roll and just home style food. I mean, just large portions, just pig out of that. But we'll have to do some other stuff, man.
Take the Waffle House on the way back.
Well,
I love
Drew
the
said
Waffle
he's
House.
driving back after the game. He's not going to stay, I don't think. So I don't know. He can stop wherever he wants on the way back.
What was the college-
Buc-ee's or wherever.
What was the college coach who said he couldn't recruit? They decided whether or not to recruit somebody, whether or not they liked Waffle House.
Yes, during the NCAA tournament this year.
Well, Gus Malzahn, I know, went after every Auburn game when he was Auburn's coach. He went after every game to the Waffle
There was
House.
like a college coach who said
I remember.
he knew they couldn't recruit.
Troy University's coach Scott Cross used Waffle House as a recruiting tool, often bringing recruits to the restaurant for breakfast. He reportedly only recruits players who like Waffle House.
I was at Chili's last night, and this dude walking in was talking about how much he liked the Waffle House. I was like, whoa, man, this is like worlds collide.
Huh.
At Chili's, talking about the Waffle House? Come on, man.
Bink, let's start with draft crushes at running back, since that is where we kind of started the show today. I've given an answer for a couple of the guys I really like. Quinshon Judkins is my one as far as like guys that will be available to the Chiefs
If
at
they
any
can
particular
go away
spot.
from this Ohio State
I know.
roadblock.
I'm familiar with the Ohio State roadblock, but this is my personal
But
choice.
he's an old Miss
Not
guy.
his.
He played most of his career at Ole
there you
Miss,
go.
which Brett Veach, SEC in the wheelhouse, former SEC scout when he's with the Eagles. So clearly, and dude is strong, man. He would fit right in this offense.
Who's your guy, Bink? Who's your guy at running
Him
back?
and Henderson. I love both those guys.
What do you think of
Dylan Sampson is my
that?
favorite.
Okay, that is your. So we were doing running back wise, realistic running back options. I mentioned him because while he's a smaller guy, I want explosiveness out of the running back spot. He provides that. I know he's not the best pass catcher out of the running back group, but Dylan Sampson, if he's there in round 3 and they're taking a running back, that would be who I would hope.
But he's a
it
great
is.
blocker. He's a great blocker.
You got to be a good blocker if you're going to be a
You have
third
to.
down back in Kansas City.
Because I've always thought that Andy Reid likes 3 things with running backs. 1, can you block? 2, can you catch? 3 is running.
Can you
I mean,
not
would think a
fumble?
running back running football.
somewhere that's on the list somewhere.
That's the
what-
issue with the Tootin kid. Yeah. He's fast as hell.
But he had like a 29-yard average returning kickoffs and had 2 touchdowns doing that. So
They have enough guys that can return kicks.
Here's the one thing about it. I heard you guys kind of whizzing on Damian Martinez.
That's Cody. Cody all of a sudden likes him.
Why did you whiz on Damian Martinez? They brought him in for a top 30
I don't think
visit.
he.
No, I said
he
he's
likes him.
I said he's third on my list.
Yeah.
Okay,
He
so you
liked
did
him.
like him.
So Quinshon Judkins was 1.
Okay, so you did
RJ
like him.
Harvey is 2, and then Martinez would be 3rd on my list if I
Okay.
were choosing running backs in this class that I think fit Kansas City. I wasn't
Maybe it was
knocking
Gold.
Martinez.
You were knocking.
He didn't
his
say
speed.
anything. I just briefly mentioned.
No, you did off air. Weren't you talking about his speed? You were talking about his speed.
There's no way Gold was talking about Martinez's speed.
You were talking about his speed. I thought Drew was saying, "Oh, he didn't like his speed or something."
That's because he ran a 4.51. He was just
Thank
like
you.
Caleb Johnson.
Oh, that's
I
right.
thought that was
because
your
I didn't like
24.
Caleb Johnson's speed.
And because
Yeah.
he was 24. That
But
also
I
was
don't
the
care
thing.
And he's
about
old
40
as hell. He'll be
speeds.
20. He's gonna be 25
I
before
told
the
you-
season starts.
I told you running back, I don't care. I only want him for 4 years anyway. I don't care if he's 25 or 20. Like, I don't want him longer than, and I don't think you do either, really. There's very few running backs you would want beyond 4 years.
Yeah, but I forgot. He's
No,
25 before the season starts.
And as we talked about before, don't look too much into top 30 visits. A lot of times, to be honest with you, I think it's a smoke screen. But they do it if they have other questions for you, and especially if they think you're 4th or 7th round. They bring them in, and they've done it before. They've drafted those guys. Kingsley came in for a visit last year, drafted him. And
Rasheed
About 1
Rice.
year.
Rasheed Rice. They brought
Rasheed
in.
Rice came in. B.J. Thompson came in. So several guys have done it, but don't always go crazy over the 40. Derrick Henry ran a 4.54 at the combine. Come on, you would take him.
You and Chris can do one more mock draft before we get to draft night, or what's the plan?
We are. Last night we did, and we released it today. We did the mock of all 32 teams.
Oh,
let's
let's get into that then.
We did them all, including the Chiefs, and then Monday we'll put out our Chiefs only one for the final Chiefs only one. I need your picks too, Cody and
Okay.
Alex.
We can do that.
Because Drew's going to give us all his picks, but we want everybody at the station's picks.
I did not know you guys did a full first round mock. All right, let's go through
We
that.
did, and we released it. It would have been nice to have a siren for it.
Wow.
Fire it.
Not too
Fire
late.
it. Fire it. All right. Let's go through all 32.
It's not a tornado.
now.
It's not a tornado.
All right.
Where do you have Sanders?
How
many
do
quarterbacks?
How do you have the top 10 going? The key positions and spots everybody's talking about is the Giants. Obviously at 3. Do they take Sanders or not in your mock?
You know what? In our mock, we went Abdul Carter.
Okay.
And Shador was definitely talked about because that's kind of been the hot name to move up. Because I think it'll save Daboll's job, to be honest with you, because he would have a rookie quarterback.
Is he going to play? They got Russ and Jameis. You think? You know what I mean?
I don't think he goes there. They'd be silly not to take Abdul Carter. And Abdul Carter's like tweeting out about Lawrence Taylor. I mean,
Really?
He's all about the Giants. Yeah, I don't see Abdul going past 3. I think Shador, honestly, could very well end up in New Orleans.
That's what we were talking about earlier in the week at 9 with
He
the
was
Derek
our
Carr
pick
entry.
9.
Okay, so you had him at 9. Totally makes sense.
Travis Hunter was 2, and of course, Cam Ward was 1. By the way, if you can't get your first 3 right,
you're not winning our draft
I think
contest.
3's a little bit tough because the New York Giants held a private workout, and I'm convinced that means that ownership or it's tough. Either ownership or the management doesn't like Sanders, and the other half does. And if it's ownership that really likes him, part of
they
me
like
thinks
Abdul
that
Carter.
then it's, if ownership likes him, then it feels like they'll take Sanders because you're the owner. You
Well,
just
here's a
say, "Take Sanders."
generational talent going to fall right to him because Cleveland's going to go Travis Hunter. So
Dude, you can
Abdul
have it-
Carter is going to go to the Giants. It's generational
But
talent.
can we admit something about generational talent and this issue with not taking that instead
Can we
of
talk
Sanders?
about how much the Giants are a big bag of suck?
But here's the problem. That's why, dude. You can take as many generational talents at defensive end as you want in the top
Yes.
3. You can have Myles Garrett on your team. How much do the Browns matter? None. Because they don't have a quarterback. Take as many generational defensive ends as you want at 3. It doesn't matter
Yep.
if you don't have a quarterback.
Do you know what? You can
So I
define
would
your
just
team.
take Sanders. It doesn't do any good.
Sometimes taking the best players. Think about this: 1989 draft. 4 of the top 5 are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That's like the best top 5 in the history. And there's one that sticks out like a sore thumb: Tony Mandrich, number 2. Because Troy Aikman went 1, then Mandrich, then Derek Thomas. Then Barry Sanders. Don't forget about Barry. Then Derek Thomas.
Pretty good.
As far as the top 4 is concerned. But 4 of the top 5 are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which is insane.
All right, what did you have happening then for the Steelers at 21 if they're not going to be able to get Sanders? Are they drafting a quarterback in yours?
We had Jackson Dart going there.
You did.
Yeah.
So Dart went at 21. Okay. 3 quarterbacks off the board.
3 quarterbacks off the board.
You get Milrow in the first somehow too.
And for last year was kind of interesting because you had the 7 receivers tying a record in the first round from 07 draft. Then, that was linemen because you had 8 offensive linemen. Then 04 was 7 receivers that were taken last year. And then Latu was taken 14th, so it was all about offense. And then all of a sudden they started going defense at 14. I'm just curious when some of these runs start going. The wide receiver talent clearly not there, and there is an abyss between the top and this whole middle area. I think Steve Smith on his podcast was calling it the chunky middle of wide receivers. Tedrow McMillan.
We got hot zones. We got chunky middle. We got a lot going on.
Chunky middle is a very unappealing
T-Mac is
prospect
sliding,
sound.
man. Like T-Mac is almost in Chiefs type range.
Well, I mean, if McMillan out of Arizona falls to 31, then I would be all about taking him there. Real quick before we get to what you guys had in your mock at 31, is a trade up scenario something you could see? There's a report on Minnesota that the Chiefs are a likely team to trade up to 24 because the Vikings only have 4 picks. And we're like, okay, well, if they're trading up to 24, is it only for one position? Is it only for 2 positions? If I told you they traded up to 24, who and what position do you think they're taking?
I think it'd be Derek Harmon.
Okay.
Honestly, I think a more likely trade up for the Chiefs would be the Rams. The Rams have been very willing trade partners. They're at
Where are they at?
26. Very willing trade partners with the Chiefs. But keep this in mind. Unless you're in the top 10, your value going forward, they could trade back, but what kind of value are you going to get for it, especially picking 31? You're not going to get great value. You're just not. They already have another second-round pick. They got 2 third-round picks, including pick 66. So you got to think about the value. What are people willing to give up to move to 31? This isn't like trading up into the top 15. Definitely not trading up into like the top 10 like they did for Mahomes. Only person I could see, it's not going to be a quarterback. That's what you hope, like a Will Levis type player that clearly not a good player, but teams might have been desperate for him, and he came to Kansas City, and he gladly flew out the next day before he was drafted for anybody. But Luther Burden, T-Mac would be two of those guys that could see maybe a team wanting to get back in to the first round, because the second round, things get nuts, because essentially it's like the first round all over again. The second round is my favorite round. That's when like the board kind of resets itself and you figure out who's picking where, and they have all day to think about it before that second round. So the second round to me is the fun round.
Who did you have the Chiefs taking at 31, you and Chris, in your latest mock?
We went, say with me, Cody.
Derek Harmon?
Thank you.
Yeah. No, same difference.
With Derek Harmon. Hey, he was there. Burton was already off the clock at that point. Derek Harmon's my favorite dude in this. I like Nick Scourton a lot, too. And I think Nick Scourton
was in your first mock, wasn't he?
He was. And a lot of people look at him as second-round type guy. I think Nick Scourton's a first-round guy, and I would clearly go Scourton in the first round. I think that guy's that talented. And he fits Spag's system
What has
perfectly.
happened? I always ask you this, because everybody does it. What changed from your first mock with Scourton to where now he's not your pick?
It depends on if he's there. Like we do. Okay. I mean, we're not just doing things like I used to, which is grab who we want.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of.
So you think Scourton's going earlier?
Scourton was. I think he went to the Bills in the Pro Football, because the Bills pick right before the Chiefs, and of course, a lot of their needs are just like the Chiefs.
Yes, very
and
similar.
keep an eye on the Chargers too. The Chargers lost Bosa, who's now in Buffalo. They need edge help, and they also need wide receiver help because they didn't do a darn thing in free agency. So look for great receivers in LA with the Chargers, and look at Buffalo sitting right before the Chiefs. Because I don't know what to say about Buffalo, but they seem to take the Chiefs' phone calls, which is insane. Will they take the Chiefs' phone calls if the Chiefs
stop at some point?
But the Chiefs are being really careful with who they talk to and who visits, because people are watching. What are the Chiefs going to do? Because that's why if I'm the Chiefs, I bring everybody in. I bring in Josh Simmons. I bring them all in and let them, hey, work out with Josh Simmons. Because, Ian Rappaport and Schefter and all around. Oh, Josh Simmons in Kansas City for his top 30
should have brought in Shedeur Sanders just to really throw everybody
to really
off,
mess with everybody.
What's going on here?
Burn a top 30 visit. Yeah. Of those wide receivers,
can you believe they're going to retire his number at Colorado? Isn't that stupid?
We did. So Travis Hunter, I get.
He's 12-13.
Travis Hunter's a Heisman Trophy Award winner, so I have no problem with that.
I get that one. But a player of the year on offense and defense. So.
He does hold a lot of the passing stats, but obviously if Cordell Stewart's not retired, then what's the point?
I said they should retire Shiloh, too. Just put all this all
The one thing I do like
really
about Shedeur is his toughness. Dude was sacked 152 times. I mean, there was something. He wasn't a guy that went out of the game or let.
Some of that's his own fault, but yeah.
But they had relatively no running game. Dylan Edwards then transfers to Kansas State, so they went that year last year without Dylan Edwards. The running game was always tough. And the offensive line play was so bad, but he stood tough and he delivered the football. I'll give him credit for that.
People love to hate on Shedeur, and I understand, it rubs some people the wrong way.
But the dude's tough. Dude's a football player.
People don't like how he goes about his business, and that's, hey, everybody's going to have their opinion. The way we've kind of talked about him now, and like people are like, I wouldn't draft him and all this stuff. It's crazy to me. I'm not telling you he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I'm not telling you he's going to win Rookie of the Year, but I also don't think he's just going to suck. I think he's going to be a starter in this league for a while. I really believe that. And if that's what you think he is, and I do, then taking him in the top 5 or the top 10 is not crazy at all. Like you don't not draft a guy just because he comes off as really arrogant. I'm not going to not draft him if I think the talent and everything else is there.
Newsflash: most quarterbacks are.
Yeah,
and they have a high sense of self-worth. But to be honest with you, could I envision him being just as good as Jackson Dart or Jalen Miller? I know, but I think they're kind of all in the same group. I think Cam Ward's clearly the better one of them, but with Shedeur, Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe, kind of in the same group. And Jalen Milroe is one of those guys, his hands magically grew for his pro day after the combine.
You ever had that happen?
Just like Will Campbell at LSU.
Your hands ever?
Got another inch on the arms. Yeah, isn't that funny how that works?
Yeah. It's Blue Chew, but for the hands.
That's
when
right.
you look at the rest of the wide receiver,
that stuff does work. That's Drew. Drew hooks me up every time I come in.
Drew talks about it all the time.
I want to talk about wide receiver. You mentioned the chunky middle, which is the opposite. The opposite of the A+ body type we're talking about. Chunky middles where the rest of us typically
but it's
land.
not talking about body type. It's talking about the chunky abyss.
Who had
A+ body type.
Look, wide receiver is definitely a position I can talk myself into. Tight end as well, like with Fannin and some of these other guys. I really love Loveland.
Chiefs like Fannin a lot, by the way. He's slow, but they like him. He caught 117 passes last year at Bowling Green.
But of the wide receivers in the chunky middle, who do you actually like? So Jalen Royals showed up in a mock the other day. Trey Harris. Yeah, like who are they? Like
Jalen Noel, really like him. Park Hill kid that went to Iowa State.
What's your number one choice out of the guys that are kind of stuck in that middle part that we know we're going to go somewhere in the second and third round?
Well, Jalen Noel, I really like Jalen Noel. Trey Harris, I really like too with his toughness and everything. I think people sleep on the Ole Miss receivers. They do.
He's not real fast, though, right?
Metcalf.
Is it because of the system that they run there? They're just worried about same concerns people have about Jackson Dart.
Well, it's just like, remember when DK Metcalf kept sliding and sliding and sliding? I mean, you look at some of these receivers that are out of Ole Miss, and I think a lot of people sleep on how good that they actually are. Trey Harris is one of those tough guys to me. I like Trey Harris a lot. We'll see how he does at the next level, but who knows? I do like him, though. But Lane Kiffin, you put up big numbers in his offensive system, no question about it. But now it's about edges and defensive line and everything with Ole Miss, with Lane Kiffin.
Does Lane Kiffin have one of the most interesting career trajectories of all time? Like, now everyone still thinks of him as like he's a high-level college football coach, which he clearly was from the beginning. But like his like rocket ship took off too fast or whatever it was, and he just kind of got stuck in.
He was a young head coach
no
in the
man's
NFL
land
back
for a
in
while.
those days. He spurned Tennessee, went to USC. As far as chunky middle, though, I like Jalen Higgins a lot too. By the way, because he's got that size.
What's his story?
With the Chiefs, he's 6'4". He's at Iowa State. He played at Iowa State, 6'4". About 220 pounds, 215.
Iowa State's got two guys that are going to go in the
Higgins and
second and third rounds.
The guy that I really like that we mocked to the Chiefs, Kyle Williams out of Washington State. He's a guy that's really climbing boards right now. A lot of people see him as maybe the 7th, 8th best receiver. But Kyle Williams, known as early on as like a 4th round type guy, he's moving up. He'll be a 2nd rounder at this point. The thing I like about him, he catches everything, runs great routes. He was with Cam Ward at Washington State before Cam Ward bolted to go to Miami.
We got Jay Binkley, our draft insider, joining us in studio here during Cody and Gold, of course. He'll be hosting our draft coverage along with Chris Inocero a week from tomorrow night at the Landing in Liberty. A conversation Cody and I were having earlier is, the positional rankings of need, a desire, whatever you want to phrase it, for the Chiefs and for you maybe as a fan watching this team, and how far down the list do you have to go to get to guard? And we're like, other than linebacker and safety, I don't know, and obviously punter or kicker, wouldn't want to draft a guard. Wouldn't want to draft a guard. Where are you? If I told you they drafted a guard in the 2nd round, in the 5th round, in the 7th, whatever it would be, they don't have a 5th round pick. What round would you be good with it, or you don't believe they're drafting a guard at all?
The 3rd round, 4th round, possibly.
That's what the highest you'd go.
But here's the thing, though. I wouldn't shy away with getting a tackle and moving him to guard either.
Tackle.
A lot of these guys,
that's different. I'll take the chance that he's a tackle and maybe ends up at guard.
You talked about Cable Do a little bit from Kansas. That's the guy that played.
Oh, yeah, Cable Do. A lot of notes on him.
Well, he had like 36 starts at right tackle. They moved to left tackle for 11 games this year. But that's the guy that's going to probably move to the middle. He's going to be an interior lineman. It's what they're going to do. So it's one of those guys I like. Donovan Jackson. He is an Ohio State guy, so you got to kind of look past that.
So you think they're drafting a guard at some point?
I think at some point. Charles Grant's a name to keep an eye on, too, out of William and Mary. Played at the FCS level, but it's a guy, possibly, 3rd round, you throw a dart, 2nd round. Charles Grant's a guy that, for development, that I really like. My best guard, Tyler Booker at Alabama, is going to be gone. I think he's the best guard in this draft. A lot of people like Gray Zabel from North Dakota State. He guy plays everywhere. He can play guards. It looks like he's probably going to play center in the NFL, though, is where Gray Zabel will end up. I think he'll go the 1st round.
I would put it below even safety. Like, I'm just telling you right now, Bink, like if you just said, I would rather they take 2 defensive tackles before they took a guard. I'd rather they take 2 wide receivers before they took a guard. I just, like, it's not a need. And I don't know if Gold and I are trying to figure out if it's just we feel this way or if the organization does too. They have 3 viable options to start a guard. Kingsley, Caliendo, and Norzad, I would argue. If it's in the 7th.
And C.J. Hansen.
We're not doing that. Yeah, and I maybe a little bit lower on him because he was probably taken in the 7th round, maybe. Yeah. Is that where he was at a Holy Cross or whatever?
But you know what, though? They like those guys because you think about where the Chiefs have done some damage in the 7th round, and they've gotten a lot of guard-type linemen in the 7th round.
They've got way too many. This would be like a roster construction thing. Good for them for winning 15 games. They have relied way too much on 7th round picks the last 2 years. You're like, this is crazy. One of your starting corners, one of your starting running back. It's like you start looking at the 7th round.
Well, you look at Super Bowl
6th
57.
and 7th round. You're like, this is crazy.
Well, Super Bowl 57 was loaded with 7th round guys. Najee Johnson and that, Isaiah Pacheco, Jalen Watson. I mean, they utilized the 7th round in that.
And then if you can't
Super Bowl
undraft a
57.
guy like Turk Wharton and like anybody after that range, you're starting to talk like kind of a weird buildup of it.
A couple of questions on the text line for you, Binks.
Someone was Reddy was the 7th rounder too.
Who's the one guy? Who's the one guy guys been asked about for like a week from Bink?
I'm not sure that name. We can find that one, but
Mahomes' stepbrother.
One of the questions that someone was asking, just in general, not for the Chiefs, but who's your favorite player in the entire draft?
Well, like last year's Ben Center, right?
Oh, the Titan from K-State. Yep. Okay. So who is it this year? Do you have one?
Nazir Stackhouse, defensive lineman.
But he's a 7th round.
I know. He's been our Mr. Irrelevant.
In the whole draft, the guy that might be Mr. Irrelevant is your most most relevant player. Okay.
Kyle Williams, if you would be serious. Kyle Williams
all right.
out of Washington State, the receiver. Probably. I was teasing Matt McMullen, who came in with our draft special last week, that because the Chiefs send him on these type of things. They sent him to Germany before the Chiefs who went out there.
Sure.
He said, you're going to the parade at Mr. Relevant in San Diego. Because they throw a parade every year. Said, you're going. He goes, you know what? I'm all for it. I said, San Diego, you're going to Mr. Relevant because nobody's trading for that pick.
Have you been to the Mr. Irrelevant parade?
No, I haven't, but I'd love to.
I mean, if the Chiefs actually make the pick, we should make a plan. We can all go together.
Go to the parade.
The Mr. Irrelevant parade. Is it the next day? How quickly we got to get there?
I'm not sure when they actually have it. It's not. It's pretty soon after the draft.
Okay.
Is it like after winning the Super Bowl, they get you on a private jet immediately?
Well, let's look at Mr. Relevant.
While you're looking that up, Binkley, there's been one guy in the text line who's asked about this player 2-3 weeks in a row.
Yes,
Will you please give us your breakdown of Graham Walker?
Okay. It's Mahomes' half brother.
Yeah. Like actual half brother.
Yes. He's not going to be a guy that's probably going to be drafted, to be honest with you. He's he was a wide receiver in Brown in the Ivy League. He transferred to Rice. He played a little tight end / H-back. Kind of undersized for that, a little bit under 230 pounds. Great hands, though. I could see him. Yeah, Chris and I had this argument about him that the Chiefs could take him, throw him on the practice squad because he obviously the familiarity with Mahomes does help because it is his half brother. But it's not going to be a guy I think is drafted.
Sorry, I'm just laughing, like just imagining like I'm waiting for the first article in like July. Pick your publication locally that like tries to make it seem like this is like this massive connection now. That he's his half brother, so he's going to be a star now in the league.
31 other teams didn't jump on. Here's Mr. Relevant.
Not even drafted.
Here's Mr. Relevant. A parade held in Newport Beach, California, for the last player selected. The player, along with his family, is invited to spend a week in Newport Beach, attending various events like
that
a
dude
parade,
needs to get his butt to
banquet,
OTAs.
even going
Rookie
to Disneyland.
minicamp.
This is the following week of the NFL draft. So it's better to be Mr. Relevant than the guy picked right before Mr. Relevant.
Oh, of course.
I guess the Brock Purdy selection, man. I mean,
It would stink if you were
prime.
one pick before Mr. Irrelevant. That would be really crappy.
I mean, Ryan Succop's probably the best in Chiefs history.
A week-long vacation in Newport Beach. That sounds nice.
100%.
I've never been, but it sounds nice.
I guarantee McMullen will go.
I'm not blindly in on any beach. I'd like to see it before I determine.
You wouldn't go to Newport?
I don't know. I've never been.
It's not Galveston.
Yeah.
See, that's what I mean by
Galveston's brutal, and the water is disgusting. I've been there.
That's Charles Barkley.
I lived an hour and a half away from.
My sister lives there now.
In
really?
Galveston?
In Galveston. I have a sister who lives there.
Surprised you haven't gone to visit.
I don't want to go to Galveston.
Oh, my goodness.
But you know the Chiefs will send
Slow on the
McMullen.
list.
He will be going to that parade. Guarantee it.
Okay.
I told him get your bags packed for Newport Beach for a week.
Yeah. You want to stick around for another segment?
Yeah, I'll stick around.
All right. We'll talk some more football and
drink beer.
Find out what else Bink wants to talk about as well. Coming up next here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Jefferson's has a brand new happy hour designed to save you money. Enjoy half off appetizers and half off your bar tab. 7 days a week at Jefferson's Lenexa and Jefferson's North Kansas City. Yeah, you heard that right. Half off your bar tab during happy hour at both locations. And it gets even better. Mondays are all day happy hour. Plus, they've got reverse happy hour every night. Whether you're catching the game or just kicking back with family and friends, Jefferson's in Lenexa and North Kansas City is the place to be. Proudly local and always delicious. Jefferson's. Wings, burgers, oysters.
Hey, it's NBA champion Bill Wennington. It's the best time to be a basketball fan. All the thrills and the playoff drama, done sitting on the sidelines and ready to win some real cash? Check out Pick 6 from DraftKings. When it comes to basketball payouts, DraftKings Pick 6 posterizes the competition, including prize picks. Hit all your picks and score higher minimum payouts on Pick 6 Plus. Even more cash if you outscore the competition.
Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code 965. That's code 965 for new customers to play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Better payouts, bigger wins. Only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.com. DraftKings.com/promos.
Living with chronic joint pain is like trying to get comfortable on a cactus sofa. Nothing feels good. And forget trying to do the things you enjoy this spring, like golfing, hiking, and tennis. You're just trying to get by. I want you to know something. The medical pros at QC Kinetics right here in Kansas City are on the case and focused to finally get you the relief you need. They've already treated tens of thousands of patients around the country with regenerative treatments that help calm that debilitating joint pain in your knees, your hips, your shoulders, and your back. With QC Kinetics, the science is solid. They give you your life back without surgery, without drugs, and without any downtime. Curious if you'd be a candidate for these treatments? No problem. The consultation is totally free, and they're happy to take a look to see if they can help you finally get the relief that you deserve. Call now and find out how easy it is to get back to enjoying life without chronic joint pain. Call QC Kinetics now, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey, more like Mira joyed that Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at your local retailer.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. What's trending?
What's Trending is presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. The Royals back at it this evening. Vern's on Deck show is at 5. First pitch a little after 6. The Royals will try to avoid the sweep at the hands of the New York Yankees. Chris Bubich gets the nod tonight.
Please, Chris Bubich, save us. I hate the Yankees so much. They're so easy to hate.
Wow, and anytime Jazz Chisholm is doing well, too. That's honestly the player. Like, I don't like a ton of Yankees players anyway, but Jazz Chisholm going back to last year, anytime he gets a couple knocks, not enjoying that.
I want to know what Seth Lugo was saying the other night when he was walking back to the dugout with those home runs. When he had 3 home runs in 1 inning, the bandbox. He was referring to something about that small ballpark in New York. I want to know what Lugo is saying. Your lip readers, let's hear it.
They're a tough team to pitch against. Next up on What's Trending, the NBA play-in tournament began last night. The Warriors won 121-116. The Magic got their win as well over the Hawks. This begins 2.5 straight months of the NBA playoffs. Obviously, there'll be continued action tonight.
Let's go Hawks.
Long. You're an Atlanta Hawks guy, huh?
Big time.
They better win tomorrow.
When the Kansas City Kings left Kansas City, I didn't follow them to Sacramento. I was pissed.
You became an Atlanta Hawks fan.
I sent, at this point, it's letters at the point because emails really weren't around much. I'm old.
You sent a letter to who?
I did. I got, several teams. I didn't want to be a Lakers fan or anything like that. So I sent it to the Hawks, the Nuggets, and all that. Nuggets sent me a media guide back. But the Hawks sent a T-shirt. They upped the ante, so I became an Atlanta Hawks fan when the Kings left.
Okay.
I love the Kansas City Kings, man. The Kansas City Kings are awesome.
That's what Shaq does,
Elsewhere on What's Trending, bizarre story in the tennis world. A British tennis player, Harriet Dart, apologized after asking an opponent to wear deodorant during a match. Dart went up to the umpire to her opponent and told her that her opponent, I don't know how to pronounce her opponent's name, Lois, maybe something. Anyway, smells really bad.
That's crazy.
She apologized later. That's
how bad you just smell to be across the court.
You know how messed up that is.
But also put some deodorant on.
Well, if it was that bad, Quote: "Can you tell her to wear deodorant?" Dart could be heard asking the umpire because the smell. Can you tell her to wear deodorant? She smells really bad.
Wow.
All the way across the
Salvador
court?
Perez?
Wow.
The umpire couldn't be heard responding while she was on the other side of the court. Dart's the world number 62 player, ended up apologizing in the story. Quote, "I want to apologize for what I said on the court today. It was the heat of the moment comment that I truly regret. That's not how I want to carry myself. I take full responsibility. I have a lot of respect for this other lady and how she competed today. I'll learn from this and move forward."
Do you know Sal Perez is considered one of the best smelling catchers?
Where's the perfume?
He does. And umpires have commented on it, like how good Sal Perez smells.
Now, the tennis player that got told to put deodorant on, she's taken it in stride. She posted an edited photo of herself holding deodorant during a serve. She also tagged Dove, the personal hygiene brand, and apparently need to a collab. So hopefully she gets an endorsement out of it. Hopefully she gets an endorsement out of it.
I like the Old Spice dry spray. That's good stuff.
But I mean, damn, on the
Shout
court?
out Old Spice.
That's so rude as hell.
That's so messed
Next up on What's Trending, FAMU is finalizing a deal to have Charlie Ward become the next men's basketball coach. According to Pete Thamel, Ward, obviously the former Heisman Trophy winner at Florida State and star basketball player at FSU and in the NBA, will now become a college basketball coach. We mentioned this before. Deion Sanders kind of paves the way for, I'm not saying former athletes had never been head coaches. It feels like it's happening a lot more at the lower levels, where they're just taking former stars that either they're thinking
Eddie George, Deshaun Jackson. I mean, Eddie George just became the Bowling Green head coach.
That's kind of a trend. You remember Larry Durker when he went to the Astros? He was their broadcaster. He went straight to managing that team.
Baseball's a little bit different. Feels like they love former players. Like Vogt immediately became a manager. Baseball's always
Matt
kind of
Quatraro,
embraced it.
obviously.
The NBA's usually embraced it. Now at the college level,
You know, Matty Q was on the original Devil Rays.
Oh,
he
really?
was drafted for
with
the
Devil Rays. The cool retro logo.
Before they even had a pro team, he was in their AAA because they didn't quite have the team ready. But he's an original Devil Ray.
Those unis back in the day were awesome. Those were awesome. That's what's trending, by the way. Here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. As you can hear, we got Jay Binkley hanging out with us, our draft insider. You and Chris Unocero have a draft special coming up on Monday night.
Yeah.
And, of course, hope to see everybody at the Landing in Liberty a week from tomorrow night. For draft night, round one coverage starts at 6. I know everybody from the station's going to be there as well. as we said, a chance to win $965.
That's a great place, man. That is a great place for the draft.
It's going to be packed. We've been warning people, like, hey, you want
great food, great place for the draft. And Saturday, Chris and I are going to be on the whole Saturday from rounds 4 through 7, and we're doing a 6-hour draft special that night. Sunday and Monday, we'll hopefully have some coaches on. We usually have those on. Sonny Dykes came on last year to talk about Wiley. So, hey, Chiefs take him in the 4th round or 7th round. We'll probably get their coach, man.
Should we be counting on Wiley having any kind of impact this year? I'm kind of not.
I
got to be honest.
Complete wild card, like just, I mean, we know they liked him and he got hyped up and an unfortunate injury. Yeah, I don't know how you can expect anything. Like, anything's a good, hopefully it's a good surprise, right? Like, I don't know how you can count on much at this point.
Well, people were linking the fact that he was a former Texas quarterback and all that, how he was
the Kelsey
comp from going quarterback to tight end. I actually like Wiley a lot. He had good play. He's a breakaway type tight end as well. I loved his production and what he did at TCU. He's a cerebral player. I remember he would come over the sideline. Sonny talked about it. He says, I have players come over and talk all the time. I was open or do this. He said he would actually listen to Wiley. He goes, so much about football. He would tell him different things, and Sonny would actually listen to what he did.
That's good to know. I mean, he's behind Noah Gray. He's behind Travis Kelce. They could take another tight end here. It's difficult to think that Wiley's going to have, and he's coming off a major injury. So like you said, wild card, zero expectations. Getting anything would be a win.
We were asking you earlier, Bink, about just running backs, and we all have like a name or two we like. Like a lot of people have that player or two. What do you think happens with the running back room? Let's say they draft any of the names we mentioned. That doesn't matter for this conversation. But knowing that, let's say they have a rookie running back in the room heading up to St. Joe, Kareem Hunt, Isaiah Pacheco, Elijah Mitchell, Carson Steele. I understand somebody can go to the practice squad, but also feels like somebody's getting cut out of that group or someone's getting traded late in camp, doesn't it?
I don't think everybody makes the team that goes. They like Mitchell because that 4.32 speed. He had elite speed. Is pretty, but he can't stay healthy. Kareem Hunt's interesting. That could be your short yardage type of guy. I think they like that. I look at him more in that Pirine role that he had with the Chiefs. I think he kind of transforms into kind of what Pirine was doing for the Chiefs, but. Yeah, I would love to see St. Joe being the push-out ground for a lot of these, like Juju. Juju's back on this team. I would like there to be a scenario where there's so much wide receiver talent that Juju not here.
Okay.
I just, like, the way I view it, it's like, this is why I think we want the breakaway running back. I think Isaiah Pacheco's running back 1.
He should be.
Day one. He's productive when he's healthy.
On paper, the guy had 4.37 speed. I mean, that is breakaway speed.
But he doesn't play that way, man.
He doesn't.
We got to accept the fact that whatever the 40.
Oh, Isaiah Pacheco is a grinder. He's an angry runner. Not on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, he's not. Because that's why Kareem Hunt's on his team. So you can be an angry runner all you want. But what are you doing on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, which isn't much?
No, he should be the guy that gets the bulk of the touches. I think he will. But you got to have somebody that can complement him with explosiveness. That's why we've talked about the running backs that we kind of like in the draft. And I will be stunned if they don't draft one. That would I would be shocked. Now, do they draft one as high as we want?
Year, some people say it's the best position group. I disagree. I think Thor had the running backs number 1, Thor Nystrom. But I don't like the running backs as like that. I still like the edge and defensive linemen better. But absolutely, running backs are probably the 3rd best group in this draft.
We discussed the top 10 and what quarterbacks could go. You have Jackson Dart going to the Steelers in your guys' mock draft for the Character Concerns crew. What do you think ultimately happens with this Aaron Rodgers situation? The Steelers say, we're being patient, we're not worried. I would have set a deadline weeks ago, but also I would set a deadline the day before the draft next week. Let us know yes or no. Because it changes how aggressive I need to be if I'm the Steelers, in my opinion, with Jackson Dart or whoever at pick 21 or move up in the draft or whatever. How do you think it plays out? Because I think right now they are confident. I don't doubt that Aaron Rodgers is showing up. But if there was one player in the NFL that truly could wake up one morning
and just decide,
pop out of a cave and say, actually, you know what? Sorry, I promised you 3 months ago I'm playing. My bad. I don't want to play and screw you. It would be him.
A literal cave,
I think he ends up on a team. But one thing he's shown is he's willing to be a mentor. Remember how Flacco was with Drew Lock in Denver when they were there, and he says, well, I'm here to play. I'm not here to mentor anybody. Mm-hmm. Not a great team attitude to have, to be quite honest with you. But wherever Rodgers goes, there will be a young up-and-coming quarterback with him. So I don't think it derails teams' plans at all if they're going to have A-Rod or not.
Interesting. Okay. So if they draft Jackson, in your hypothetical, they draft Jackson Dart, at pick 21, you think he would just sit behind Rodgers all year, even with the first round?
Yeah,
pick?
because he's good with it.
Okay.
And learning behind a 4-time MVP, love him or hate him, I mean, that's a valuable deal.
Can I just say, because they've been stuck in purgatory, forever in perpetuity, I would just say useless. If you're going with Aaron Rodgers, try to win now. Take players that help you win immediately. The only point of drafting Aaron Rodgers is to try to win a Super Bowl in 2025. Taking a quarterback is like the antithesis of that. Either draft the young quarterback or go with Aaron Rodgers. But if you're taking Aaron Rodgers, your first round pick should be a player who helps him immediately.
Yeah,
today.
I look
right
at this
now,
draft. I don't see a
helps
guy
the
that can come
defense.
in and play quarterback right away and be the guy. I think the guy would.
So
all
let me
of
ask
them,
you,
even all of them would benefit. Even Cam Ward,
Yeah.
I think, would benefit being behind Aaron Rodgers.
I agree. It's not a great draft class, but let's combine this year's class with last year's class. Where does Cam Ward go? Let's try. I mean, in hindsight, we know Jaden Daniels looks awesome, but if we're being honest about how we viewed those quarterbacks a year ago and now how we view these current quarterbacks that we're talking about being drafted in 2025, where do you think like Sanders would rank if we include last year's? Where would Cam Ward rank?
I think Sanders not going the first round. Cam Ward's going to go after Penix. I think Penix would be one of the top quarterbacks.
So you would have still had,
if not the top quarterback.
So you would have still had Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Michael Penix, and then it would be Cam Ward.
I might even go Penix over Drake May, to be honest with you.
Ooh, okay.
If they redid it.
May, it's hard to tell. Penix is just a total unknown. I don't know what
That was a brilliant pick by the Falcons. A lot of people gave him crap because they spent all that money on Kirk Cousins, bringing him in, they gave him the bag. But they had an opportunity. You know what? They had an opportunity drafting in the top 10.
I mean, brilliant.
They got a quarterback in the top 10, and hopefully they don't want to be there again going forward. I thought it was a good pick.
I don't know if it's brilliant unless it works.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's brilliant because their plan initially was Kirk Cousins to still look like Kirk Cousins pre-injury,
Which is silly. When they did it, we all said it.
Right. So
coming off an Achilles at his age at 34, he's only won one playoff game. This is what they do, though. Don't forget they drafted Bijan Robinson, already having Algier on their roster.
It can't be brilliant though if this tells you there was a disconnect in their front office though, one side of the room, or either from ownership or front office, because if it was for it to be brilliant, it would have been not bringing in Kirk Cousins and then just drafting Michael Penix. That's brilliant. Not spending all this money and right now having a veteran quarterback going to make $25 million to back up Michael Penix and hang out. That's not brilliant. Even if Michael Penix is, you know what I'm saying? Like, for this to be brilliant, Michael Penix would just have to be great. And even if he's great, it tells me they didn't think he was going to be great, because then they should have known in their evaluation that Michael Penix was going to be the guy. They didn't need to spend all this money on Kirk Cousins. They could have signed any other veteran last year.
I think they were surprised a bit about how good he was, and an opportunity presented itself to get a quarterback in the top 10, so they win it. And I don't know how much credit to get him. Did they look at the 25 quarterback class? They look at the 26 quarterback class and think, you know what? We're probably not going to get Arch Manning in 26. We're hopefully not drafting in the top 10 again. Here we are sitting in the top 10. Here's Michael Penix. Let's go ahead and get him. So it looks brilliant on the outside. I don't know what went into it, if they were showing brilliance or not, because typically they don't show brilliance in Atlanta.
This seems like it's turned out to be a look better than what it was after draft night. Like I still think heading into week one last year when Kirk Cousins was a starting quarterback, I don't know anybody that thought it was just this great draft pick.
Why did you pay him so much money for so many years, like you said?
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Penix has a lot going for him. The injuries early on in his career.
This is not even about Mike thinking Penix stinks or is good. It's just the whole. I can't give them credit for the entire process to get here, because they're somewhat of almost, they've kind of lucked that this is turning out okay for them.
Yeah, I mean, if they went forward thinking this way it's going to work out, okay, I'm good with it. But if I'm like you, I do think they kind of lucked into it. But this is what they do, though. Like the Bijan Robinson draft, when they already had Algier go for 1,000 yards in the NFL.
Is that gangbusters? Like, is Bijan Robinson, are they like, man, I'm so glad we took Bijan. It's going fine, I guess. He's not like a bad running back, but he's not
1,000-yard running back that was a rookie the year before at Algier.
But you took, that I don't like the Bijan pick, I guess is my point. You're saying it's like a positive. I'm saying it's a negative. They took Bijan. They had a 1,000-yard running back. They took Bijan. He's fine. He's not one of the 5 best backs in the league. Hell, he might not have been one of the 10 most performing backs in the league.
Average less than 2 yards against the Chiefs.
Yeah, he's fine. He's not like a bad back. He's still very talented, but like, he's not Saquon Barkley either. Like, if you got that, I'd say, hey, you did great taking Bijan. Otherwise, I'd be like, why'd you take a running back? So
Dude's a stud, though.
Yeah.
Man.
By the way, Kirk Cousins, $40 million cap hit, but $25 million guaranteed is what they're dealing with. I still think
mid-30s coming off Achilles.
Still think he's going to get traded, or he's going to have to lower his
But
contract.
there's such a premium for quarterbacks, man. People are like the Sam Darnold's. I knew Sam Darnold would get money. I knew he didn't deserve it either. He peed down his leg in the playoffs. He was terrible down the stretch for the Vikings. You knew he was going to command big money because people are willing to throw money at quarterbacks. You knew Darnold was going to get paid.
Yeah, I just don't know where Kirk Cousins ends up. We were talking about this the other day. I mean, I don't know. Because the Browns said no because they didn't like the contract that they were going to have to take on.
Flacco.
And so I just don't know. I mean, what, if Aaron Rodgers does retire, do the Steelers try to trade for Kirk Cousins? I don't know where he ends up. And if I'm the Falcons, I don't want Kirk Cousins backing up Penix all year. That's really awkward.
If you're Pittsburgh or New Orleans.
New Orleans is one to watch.
Because Kellen Moore.
Minnesota, if the Vikings watch J.J. McCarthy this spring in early summer, they think we screwed up.
He's not even quarterback one.
But Kirk Cousins, he was just in Minnesota. He has a relationship there. That's why people link him there. I don't know, man. Kirk Cousins' situation is going to be a fun one to follow.
And he's on the Netflix series again, isn't he?
The quarterback one, yeah.
With Burrow.
That's going to be interesting to watch when he gets benched. Like how that process went down.
Made for TV.
The Kirk Cousins thing. Could you imagine if Alex Smith was just like sitting behind Patrick Mahomes the whole year? That'd be so uncomfortable.
Everybody want that Alex Smith syndrome. Let's get a guy that's proven guy that could be a mentor. But there's not many Alex Smiths, maybe not any, except for Alex Smith, that are willing to set their ego aside and help. Like when Mahomes got here, that was a different Alex Smith we'd ever seen. Like he had that blanket attitude when he was doing interviews. But he had Mahomes. He would have him over for dinner his rookie year. He would have him show up at 6 a.m. like he was doing. Like he literally took Mahomes under his wings. That's very unheard of. A lot of people have the attitude like Joe Flacco did. I'm here to play, not to be a mentor.
They also make it sound like Alex Smith was the single biggest stabilizing force of the organization. He was a big stabilizing force, but it was Andy Reid. It was the fact that they had gotten a head coach who knew what he was doing.
And an unselfish quarterback willing to do that. I mean, what Smith did is pretty damn cool.
The last 3 minutes of the show, 180 seconds, brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Results every week, and then receive free support for life online at awaken180weightloss.com. Like no other random players are asking about right now.
It's almost beer time.
Wait, are you going to get beers after?
Yes.
Where are you going?
Happy hour. My spot.
Your spot.
Okay.
My spot.
His spot. You didn't have to blow it up in the whole city.
I didn't know where his spot was. I know his spot.
You've been to my spot.
I know your spot.
People might come kicking down the doors trying to hang out with Jay Binkley. Talk draft.
Lake and I went to the spot a couple weeks ago for the Big 12
tournament. He was in town?
And Obaji's dad was with us, Mr. Oak Park.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was.
Lake's got a ton. Henry's got a ton
drinking
of
beer with Lake and I.
Lake's got a ton of connections in the college basketball and basketball scene.
Yeah,
Tons.
We talked some NBA with Obaji, his son. Good dude, cool dude.
Kansas hasn't had a lot of luck the last couple of years at the level. They've had a lot of pros.
Just guys in the league.
That are just like, good. They just got a lot of good guys in the league right now. Not a lot, I'm not saying like there's a bunch of superstars.
Christian Brown, obviously, a very good player.
He's turning into more of a star.
Yeah, Wiggins and Brown and Abaji, they got a lot of just like really good NBA players.
Oh, Johnny Furphy just dunked on some guy's head the other night for the Pacers. Oh, yeah, he cocked it back and just jammed it right through his face.
How about ex-Jayhawks like Sharon Collins leading Oak Park to a state title?
For high school, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing well.
They definitely are.
Is he going to get plucked to a bigger school, Big? Sharon Collins going to get recruited?
Probably. Well, I'm a Missouri guy, and that happens to be my school, so I'm good with the Jayhawks in that situation. Rock chalk, baby.
We don't have enough time. I just realized we should have asked you about the whole Nico situation. I know you got a ton of thoughts on that. Maybe for another day.
Where's Nico?
We think that
I teased Max so hard
we
about
think,
that.
Yeah, because Max is a Tennessee guy. We think just at this point in time, obviously he's never going to get the same amount of money he was already getting at Tennessee. No. This thing backfired in a big way. But it does feel like now that all the coaches and athletic departments have all kind of ganged up and said, "Oh yeah, we're definitely not helping this kid out. Now we're not going to let somebody tell us what to do," kind of thing.
Yeah, it's 100%. People are going to be desperate for a quarterback, and they understand this.
Where do you think he ends up?
UCLA still a possibility.
That's the favorite offshore odds because he's got ties to that area.
The funny thing is Mac, when it first came out, like I hit Mac up, he had that attitude that people have. Oh, we didn't need him anyway.
Of course,
that's what Nebraska used to say when a 4-star would change his commitment. I said, be honest with me. And he said he was. He was sad. I said, be honest with you. Of course, right now, go. Don't let the door hit you. That's not truly what you think.
Yeah.